Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to V-Speed and the Moonshiners Racing League for the OB Builders Cup Series. And tonight, Kansas Motor Speedway, or Kansas Speedway, I guess is, we're putting motors on it. It's Kansas Motor Speedway tonight for the All About Sheet Metal 300. Well, Kansas, one of the best tracks on the iRacing circuit for sure, and it's going to put on a great show here tonight. No doubt about it. Hope y'all are ready to go. It's going to be 200 laps of amazing, amazing racing, and you're going to see it all here on V-Speed. Yeah, as always, if you're not subscribed to V-Speed, definitely go over there and hit that subscribe button, and we're glad to have y'all watching here tonight. I'm Eddie Smith, and going to bring you all the action here as qualifying is just getting rolling, but let's take a look at your schedule and see where we are, where we've been. Dover last week was an incredible race, and it definitely put on a good show. Alex Coffey was able to take over the points lead, but Kenny Coppola got revenge on 2023, able to get the victory. He's out tonight with an injury. He's on IR, injured reserve. Kenny Coppola's out here tonight. But Alex Coffey takes over the points lead, so he is now in control, but still looking for that win. You see right there. Got that lead over Matt Cox, but just a few points. But Matt's got those 2 wins. Kyle Holden with those 2 wins. Alex Coffey looking to try to get out of that goose egg out of that win column. Well, qualifying is underway, and we've got a few people out on track. Let's take you out at the moment and show you where everybody's at. We got Alex Coffey, just talking about him, up on top of the board here early. I tell you what, that's exactly what you want to do. Start out from, but look at the difference between first through third. Just 5 thousandths of a second separate those two as we watch Sean Kaltenbach make his first lap around this track. We'll see what they decide to do. Kansas, a lot of fun. You can see he's running that high line in qualifying. You get that momentum up and you keep it up. You have to be careful with that wall, especially in qualifying. You don't want to make contact, but that's where the speed is going to be here early. We'll see where he jumps up to. Up good enough for 27th on the first lap. These next gen cars, the tires on it, man, it really does not feel good that first lap. So I think that second lap will be a little bit better. Let's see what he does as he is going through 3 and 4, and you can see just trying to keep, he'll put that maybe that left front below that seam, but trying to keep all the other 3 tires above it. Get a massive run down on the apron, and he crosses the line. We'll see where he's able to improve to, and he jumps up to the 5th position. So Sean Kaltenbach, man, what a great second lap, able to jump up there and do something with it. Out on track now is Jeffrey Taylor. Got that high rock number 23 machine out on track, getting this thing rolling, trying to get himself a good starting spot. Kansas is a really nice place to be able to make some passes, but as the tires start to wear, that high line will become pretty dominant depending on how you set your car up. You know, I think that'll be interesting to see how the open sets work. You had a track like Kansas where you can run similar lap times on the bottom versus the top. And as always, something that we'll be talking about is that that high line will eat the tires up if you abuse it. Now, you can really push early, and it will heat that right front up, and it will be toast for the rest of the run. But if you can take care of it up there, it's overstated about the high line here at Kansas. The high line's always been really fast. You see Jeffrey get really close to that wall. That looks like a pretty quick lap. We'll see where he jumps up to. It's going to be pretty good, right up into the top 12. So that 23 machine with a great lap. It was like 29 fives are going to be a top 3, and then 6 is all the way down to 13th. That's how close these folks are. Shane Davis out on track now. I'm going to put that 79 beast mode Chevrolet. Try to get him a time down, find him a good starting spot. But yeah, you definitely can move up through the field. It's just going to be, you're going to have to be, I mean, there's a lot of cars here. There's going to be over close to 40 cars. If you have to start in the back, that's going to be difficult. That dirty air will be a problem as we move on through this thing. And Shane right now up to 17th on his first lap. We'll see if he can improve on it. Everybody has been running this outside line. Trying to keep it pretty much flat out if you can. 3 and 4, you can get a really nice rotation off of it. As he comes off a turn 4 down through the apron on the tri-oval, we'll see where he ends up. Pretty good lap time, 4th fastest on the board. As we've got just a couple minutes left here in qualifying, and we'll see if anybody else decides to go out there and make a time. And we got Brandon Bikey out there, so let's jump out. We want to pay attention to all these drivers. Somebody that I got my eyeball on, Brandon Bikey, has been really exciting all season long so far, the few times that I've been here. And last week he was really, really quick. I would not be surprised to see him start up front and have a really, really good race here tonight. Him, Paul Gallimore with those matching paint schemes. You see that steering wheel go left, right. Just on edge, he's trying to make that high side work. The high side is just too much fun. I love it. I like to get up there and just run the rim. I ran a race here on Sunday, 267 laps, and I'll tell you, man, it was a blast. You can see Brandon Bikey actually doing something a little bit different here, doing the bottom of 1 and 2. And he is going to run the bottom of 3 and 4, so something we haven't seen yet. And we'll see if he's able to make some speed with it. Oh, he's going to make contact with the wall, and you can see, as that lap time will be invalidated. So Brandon Bikey is going to have to start in the back. 37th is currently where he sits. So not what you want to do. That's the danger of that bottom line. As we take a look at the weather and see the track temp is 72 degrees. So it's going to be pretty tight. It's going to be really difficult to have that thing rotate up off the bottom. But he gave it a shot, but he is going to have a long way to go to get up towards the front. About 20 seconds left in this thing, and it looks like Alex Coffey will be your pole sitter. As we're going to pull up everybody's webcam, see what everybody's doing here tonight. And look who we got on cams. We got Johnny Shea, Barry Sanders, Tim Wartford Jr. As we try to click here and get off this screen. Brandon Bikey there in the middle. Kyle Holden decided to throw his cam up there tonight. And Jeffrey Taylor with Chris Spear all by himself down on the bottom. Well, all right, we got to get through the grid, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. The All About Sheet Metal 300. Now let's jump into the grid. Starting on the front row is going to be Alex Coffey with Tim Wartman Jr. there beside him in second. In third, going to be Stephen Gibson with Shane Davis here tonight in the fourth spot. Fifth, Paul Gallimore with Sean Kaltenbach in sixth. In seventh, it's going to be Josh Jean, a new driver, subbing in for somebody tonight. We'll get that in just a moment. They had some late race subs. It looks like Josh Jean is going to be subbing in for Kenny Coppola. Randy Mullen's going to start outside of him with Hunter Carmichael in the ninth spot. Rounding out the top 10 is going to be Chris Davis. In 11th, Aaron Matthews, Darren Mullins in 12th. 13th, Jeffrey Taylor, Kyle Holden in 14th. 15th, Chris Spear with Matt Cox in 16th. 17th, going to be Barry Sanders with 18th, Johnny Shade. 19th, Justin Belmont with Nigel Christensen in the top 20. 21st, Andrew Niedert and Jordan Schmeets. Man, the row of fun last names. I like that. John Bender and Garrett Crawford in 24th. 25th, Brandon Fetterplace, Adam Chapman in 26th. 27th, Shane Parrish with Nick King in 28th. 29th is Darren Mills, Sean Rogers in 30th. 31st, Ed Bowles Jr. with Caden Orfrey in the 32nd position. And 33rd, Paul Whitley with Warren Young in 34th. 35th, Jared Clark with Matt Medler in 36th. Blaine Wilson, Brandon Bikey, confusing 37th and 38th. I expect those guys to be up towards the front, but they are going to start deep in the field here tonight. And, of course, Dean Motley not going to agree. I think that is your race control. All right, they start to roll off here. And let's take a look at your track analysis. We look here at Kansas, 1.5 mile. We've been talking about it all week, and it put on a fantastic show in real life, and it's going to do the same here. We're going to transition from the evening time sunset to the night. So the track's going to go through some changes that's going to affect your handling. How do you have it set up? Do you have it set up for night? Do you have it set up for a little bit warmer? The track's pretty cool, so it shouldn't affect it too much, but something to think about later on in this run. One of the newer tracks on the circuit. Take a look at your race analysis. 200 laps here tonight, 45 miles an hour pit road speed, 6 tire sets available. Fuel run's going to be anywhere between 58 and 63 laps, and then 45 on the stage here. So 45 and 90. So we'll go around one more time, and tell you what, let's talk to Alex Coffey real quick. Alex Coffey, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Getting ready to go green, man. Put that thing on top of the standings real quickly. You're top of the points. You're top of the field here tonight. You need to get that win. What you gonna do to get that win here tonight?
It's a long race, so depends how it plays out. But clean air is definitely important, or at least staying up towards the front. So that's what we're gonna aim for. I really wasn't too confident in the qualifying pace this week, so I'm pretty surprised that it held up, but we'll work with what we got.
All right. Well, that 15 machine looks fast. We'll talk to you later. Good luck tonight.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Alex Coffey, your pole sitter here tonight, seems pretty confident. He wasn't confident in his qualifying, and dadgummit if he didn't do a great job of getting it on the front row. But here we go. 200 laps here at Kansas. It's a race, Kansas Speedway. Lord of mercy, going to be stumbling on that. 200 laps. It's going to be a barn burner. 45 laps here in this first stage. There is no fuel saving, any issues with all that. We're going to go all out trying to get those stage points. Are going to be really important. Pace car is off, getting ready to go green. Alex Coffey is going to lead us down to the green flag. Green flag is out here at Kansas. Well, so far, so good. Tim Wortman Jr., though, in the wall on lap 1. Coming off a 4. He's in the wall again. Making contact with the wall early in that 83 machine. No fast repair in this series, so you got to be watching out. That's not what you want to have happen is struggling here for grip on that outside. He jumps right down to the bottom. Hopefully that damage isn't too bad. This damage model, pretty solid. Little slight hits like that shouldn't be too big of an issue. May have a little bit of damage to fix in pit road, but should be fine. Looks like the car is still up to speed, and he is doing all right, but going to drop back to 6th position after that little bit of contact. Everybody right down to the bottom. We talked about the different lanes as here comes Randy Mullins down to the inside of Sean Kaltenbach, and Sean says, hey, look here, you go ahead and you can have it. We talked about the track. That outside is really good for passing. If you want to make a pass on somebody, jump up to the outside. You can get some momentum up, really make something happen. But here early in the race, you want to take care of your tires. Make sure you don't overheat them. The best way to do that is right around the bottom. And so you see a majority of the top 10 down on the bottom. And then we have to go all the way back to about the 8th, 9th position to see the first driver that is looking to the outside. And right now it's the 64, Darren Mullins, that is up there. Not quite all the way to the top, but trying to hang on to those spots. Paul Gallimore now looking to the inside of Steven Gibson, using that run. The draft is going to be a big deal here as these guys are pretty much flat out early, I would imagine. It won't take long for the car to start to change the balance just a little bit, but these guys are really scooting at the moment. Draft is going to play a big factor until the tires start to wear out. And Paul Gallimore takes a look down to the inside, but Alex Coffey going to cover it in the 3 and 4, trying to hold on to that track position. He does not want to fall back in traffic. As we see Randy Mullins Now looking down to the inside, trying to take over the third position. Got a really nice drive into turn 1. And Steven Gibson going to try to fit between him and Shaw, but didn't push the issue. Now going to drop down in front of Kaltenbach. And Sean gives him a little shove. And they stay in line. But a pretty good little first battle. Got some more battling going on back here. As Matt Cox has moved up 6 positions from where he started. That fella is rolling in that 32 machine and really a GOAT paint scheme. But up front, we got Paul Gallimore going for the lead. I can't click off the lead for just a second. And then it all changes hands. And here comes Alex Coffey. He's going to try. Yes, he is. Looks down to the inside. Going to try for the crossover. And they make a little bit of contact going into turn 3 on lap 7. Look how they're racing. We saw it in real life. It's the same way here. They're going to race. Oh, they're going to make a little bit of contact off the wall. And I thought Gallimore was going to end up in that outside wall, but does a good job. But they continue to race side by side. Now, if they stayed single file and just kind of followed each other, this field would spread out quickly. But the more that they battle like this, you've seen it in real life, and it works like it does in real life in iRacing, where that side draft, what Paul Gallimore is doing right there, leaning on the rear quarter panel as he goes by, that just pulls Coffey back. And so now Coffey's going to do the same thing. And it looks like Coffey is sort of getting like a rubber band effect where it's shooting him forward, but it's actually pulling Gallimore back and slowing them both up. And that's just allowing everybody behind him to catch back up. Randy Mullins got a nice view of this battle. Trying to decide where to go. Who do I go with? Who's going to make it? Alex Coffey. Quick little maneuver there on entry, able to take that spot back over. And you can hear very little off throttle time here for Randy Mullins. Just kind of a and right back on it. Gonna peek down to the inside. He's actually off the chip there, holding it in 4th gear. Gets a nice little run right here as Gallimore has to back out of it just a little bit. And so now move Randy Mullins up to 2nd place if he can make this pass. These guys have 5 gears, but 4th is pretty good here. And you'll see a lot of folks running that 4th gear. We actually were on board with Randy Mullins as he was bouncing it off the chip. And you go, well, that's not good. He ought to shift to 5th. But actually the act of shifting will lose you a little bit of time. It's almost better just to ride the chip off into the corner, especially in 3 and 4. And as the run goes on, you start to slow down the times, it will stop doing that, and you'll stay in 4th majority of the lap. I think the only time you'll go up to 5th is maybe right about here. You might shift up to 5th, but there'll be times later in the run where that's not even necessary. So 4th gear going to be the dominant gear tonight, which is kind of nice. You don't do too much shifting. Shifting is majority of the time in turn 1. And really don't have to do too much in 3 and 4. Just stay in 4th majority of the time. But, man, look at all this racing we got going on right here. It's Matt Cox looking on board, or right in front as Tim Wortman almost went 3 wide there. Looked up to the outside, and, man, look at the battles going on everywhere. I mean, we need about 2 cameras at once. Look at Wortman up against the wall trying to make that speed, and it definitely works. Look at the run he's going to get here on Sean Kaltenbach. Going to basically shove him. Now going to go up to the outside as you see Randy Mullins, Paul Gallimore battling it out. Watch this run that Tim Wortman gets here. But look at just how much fun this track is. Where else can you do this? It's just an amazing track with multiple different lanes. And I'm telling you, it is a blast to race. And Wortman is running my line. I don't care. They'll say, well, it's going to burn your tires up. I don't care. I'm here. I pay my $13 a month for iRacing. I'm going to run where the hell I want to run. And that's right up against the wall. And Tim Wortman's the same way right now. It looks like he is going to run right up against the wall, make up some ground, and try to make passes. Run where they ain't. That's where I like to run. But it's still a 5-way battle. It's now Darren Mullins has joined the battle here in that 64 machine as he's going to go around Sean Kaltenbach on the outside. So sort of a 2x2 action up front. Alex Coffey loves to see that as he can start to pull away just a little bit if possible. Would love to show more. Hey, guys, up front, if y'all don't mind getting single file and getting boring, that'd be great because I could go back and show more through the field. But this is too good. Man, we got somebody getting loose back here. Oh, my goodness, they're all out of shape towards the back. 17, Nigel Christensen goes around. Nick King, I think, was involved, but no caution comes out. We'll see if we can go back and see exactly what happened there on the V-Speed replay. We kind of saw a whole lot of heeing and hawing going on. Let's see if we can find out where exactly that happened. Nick King seemed to be involved in it. You see him in that green car down. Oh, well, Lord of mercy. Somebody gets into the wall. That's a 13. That's Johnny Shade. You can see the 24 going to go around. And my camera angles are playing dirty tricks on me. So it happened with the 13. Let's see if we can go back and find out. I'm still watching this replay here. Now, I think it just gets loose. That's exactly what happened. On board, Johnny Shade working that outside line, leaning that right rear on the top of that seam, and 2-foot smashes it like we talked about a couple weeks ago. And when that happens, it just bottles up all around him. And that's what happened there. But no caution came out, so we stay green. But you can see Johnny Shade just has this car set up a little bit looser, and you have to be careful with the balance. You can see those seams. It's really hard to see, but they're thin black lines there on the middle of the track. You see the 54 running in between two of them. And if you dump the left side, oh, it's Paul Gallimore and Randy Mullins make contact off the wall. But if you put those left sides or the right sides on a different seam, it does change the balance of the car. And Johnny Shade, we saw him stick that right rear up on that top seam, running that middle, and it just upset the car and sent him around. He was luckily able to 2-foot smash it and get it back straight. But we're seeing a breakaway here after that little bit of contact sort of messed up the field. Justin Belmont in that number 6 machine, he is leading, or he's at the rear of this pack, sort of the caboose. And then Sean Rogers is the first driver in this second group of cars. So a little big gap there. It's going to kind of happen after that little bit of contact. But here comes Randy Mullins. Randy Mullins up 6 spots from where he started in that 54 machine. He is looking outside of your leader. Now gets a run down to the inside. We'll see if that inside line is working here at lap 20. Not clear just yet. Gonna have to give that wide berth on exit to Alex Coffey. Gonna go all the way down to the grass to try to make sure he can complete the pass here. Drives it a little bit deeper. Should slide up in front of Coffey here. A little bit of slide job. And he does. So Randy Mullins takes over the lap, or the top spot here on lap 22 of 200. Randy looks really, really fast here in this middle part of the run, but we still have quite a few laps left in this stage, about halfway through now. So we'll have to do this all over again. So I'm interested to see who are going to be the big movers, who are going to come alive as the tires start to wear. Alex Coffey going to hang on to that second position. Is back here with Tim Wortman Jr. It's going to be 3 wide. Josh Jean, Steven Gibson. 3 wide. This is for 11th position. And they split the difference. Tim Wortman going to lose 2 spots. He is definitely struggling, and I wonder if that damage doesn't have something to do with it, as he is going backwards quick. Now, he was running that outside line early, trying to make up those spots, so maybe a little bit of that damage plus that outside line starting to hurt him a little bit. He'll have to adjust on this next run, but if I know him like I do, I would not be surprised to see him back up into the top 5 before the end of this race. Up front, it continues to be a wild battle. You see Matt Cox, Aaron Matthews running side by side. Matt Cox has made up 10 spots from where he started. Barry Sanders actually asked me, and I don't, still trying to learn everybody what they're good at. It's going to take some time, but he asked me the 3 drivers that I thought would win the race tonight. And I normally don't do predictions, but I'm going to give them to you. And the reason why I don't do predictions is everybody takes it personally when I don't pick you. And I'm like, look, nobody knows who's going to win this race. Right now, Randy Mullen's looking to be a clear favorite. But I did pick 3 drivers I had to pick, and I gave it to Matt. Oh, Matt Cox makes contact with Shane Davis there, and Shane contact with the wall. But I picked Cox, Blythe, or Bikey, and Kyle Holden. So right now, Matt Cox running up in the 8th position. Brandon Bikey, we talked about him in his really bad qualifying attempt, and while he doesn't need to push really hard when you start that far back. Really just want to take your time, move up through the field little by little, and get to the stages and continue to improve your position and get in position for that final 3rd stage. And Brandon Bikey has been able to make up quite a few spots, up 20, biggest mover of the race so far. So he is definitely going to be a player before the end of this thing. Now, 2 cars ahead of him is Kyle Holden, my other pick. He kind of started in 14th and has dropped back a couple of spots. So we'll see if he can right the ship and get moving back forward. But those are the drivers I picked. But what do I know? Who knows? 3 wide action up front. Up inside the top 10, you've got the 43 of Steven Gibson, the 44 outside of him. I don't know who that is. Like the 14, maybe. He's got the 44 on his car, but the 14 of Sean Rogers. But he was able to get himself inside the top 10. Well, it's a madhouse right here. I'm going to tell you, this is a lot of guys going all over the place. The dang cameras ain't wide enough. I'm going to have to widen the cameras out. Tim Wortman Jr. is going to get into the wall. Kyle Holden right to his back bumper, has to slam on the brakes to get the thing to rotate up underneath. Wortman struggling as Brandon Bikey going to give a push to the 59 of Kyle Holden as they're continuing to be 3 wide. And Wortman Jr. definitely would love to see that stage break or any caution at this point, because tires definitely going to be on the menu for that fella. Right now, the drop-off after 30 laps is about 7/10, just depending on who you are, where you're running. That's not a huge fall-off, but I think we'll see it continue to gap that as we get closer to the lap 45 stage break. Oh, it's Randy Mullins. As soon as I change the camera up here, Randy Mullins feeling the heat, gets a little bit of that wall, and Alex Coffey's now going to have a big run. Down to the inside goes Coffey. See the run that he gets off the corner, but Alex Coffey just being patient, working that bottom. He would love to be able to use the whole track, but not going to be able to do it as Mullins still has the run off the top side. And look how close it is. Alex does a great job through here. Going to get a little bit of side draft going into the corner. We'll see if Randy can hold on. Looks like Coffey, though, is going to be able to grab that spot. Randy Mullins not satisfied with that. Going to dive down to the inside and retake it. What a move by Randy Mullins. Well, if you're just joining us, we're 32 laps into the 200-lap race here at Kansas. Alex Coffey, Randy Mullins battling it out for the lead. This is very much like Chastain and Larson. And you see what it does. It's pulling Shane Davis, Sean Kaltenbach, Paul Gallimore, Darren Mullins all into this lead battle every time they go side by side. But still a fun battle. Looks like they're having a good time. Alex Coffey looks to be coming alive here towards the end of this stage, as Randy Mullins may have pushed a little bit too hard, but it's really hard to say. There's so many cat and mouse games that go on in these races. But continues to work that outside here, trying to hold off for second. Three and four. The top side is pretty even with the bottom, so the bottom side can really make up some distance in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, though, that outside line is really strong, and you can see Shane Davis able to get that inside position on Randy Mullins, not able to hold on to it. But in 1 and 2 here, that top side is really, really fast. And I think Randy Mullins, as long as he can keep his foot in it, can make a huge run off the corner. You can see Shane Davis side by side with him off the corner, and look, almost a car length and a half he was able to put on him. Continue to battle side by side. As we check in on some drivers, let's go back here to look at Jeffrey Taylor. Jeffrey Taylor started up in 13th and has done nothing but nosedive since the early part of the race. That 23 machine is all the way back in 23rd. So he's got some work to do. We'll hit our cameras. We talked a little bit about Kyle Holden earlier in the race, and he decided to use his driver cam here tonight, so we appreciate that. Comfortably moving his way up through the field. Randy Mullins, a big mover. Aaron Matthews, Darren Mullins, Kyle Holden, Sean Rogers, all big movers here in this first little stint. And Brandon Bikey still hunting them down. 24 spots he has made up. Well, let's go on board with Kyle Holden as he's dealing with traffic, dealing with being kind of in the hunt, as there is a battle for the lead going on, but we're going to try not to be too ADD about the camera changes. They're making contact up there. But watching on board with Kyle as he's sort of running that middle line. He's kind of flirting with the bottom a little bit, just letting that thing slowly drive down to the bottom. He can see the lead now as right in front of him, Aaron Matthews is going to push Gallimore, and actually Aaron's going to get to the outside and get that outside position. We'll see where Kyle goes. Kyle's going to maybe try to keep that clean air on the front of that 59 machine. Oh, Aaron Matthews has to maybe check up just a little bit, as that was really, really close. These guys are battling it out. Speaking of battling, we got to go up here. They're door banging up front, trying to not show the front so much as they're making contact, coming off the wall. Ass Coffee gets into the outside retaining wall, comes down, hits the 79, and that slows him up a lot. As you see, Randy Mullins completely crossing over the front bumper of Alex Coffey to go up to the top side, and they're almost 3 wide for second place. This is going to be a great race. This is going to be a fun one to call if they keep racing like this all night long. Shane Davis now goes up to the front. Oh, Shane Davis actually blinks out for a second. We'll see if he comes back. That's not good. And he has not come back yet, so maybe disaster for Shane Davis. We'll see if he comes back. Usually if they're not back by at this point, you're in trouble. And it looks like Matt Cox also with and you see him right here. He had a disconnect. So I don't know, maybe I somehow missed this, but he is 5 laps down, and he is, look at him right here, he's running in 37th position, 5 laps down. He is on board for the Lucky Dog, but he's trying to get at least one of them back. As man, he gets super loose, going to split the leaders 3 wide and try to get one of those laps back, so he has less that he has to make up, and he does. That's actually a really awesome thing to have happen, because actually Shane Davis is now back out on track a lap down. Nope, he's not. I don't know what's going on. Shane Davis may have come back out on track, and I think maybe iRacing has, because he disappeared for so long, I think maybe iRacing scores him now a lap down as he missed a lap crossing the line with that connection issue. So we'll see if they make any changes with that. they can wave him around during this stage break. We'll see how they choose to deal with it, but currently he's showing in the 35 position. He did come back, but he was out for a whole lap before coming back. So Randy Mullins, Alex Coffey is your top two at the moment. But like I said, Shane Davis is still running in that position, but he is being scored a lap down because of the fact that he blinked out. So a lot going on, connection issues. It's not uncommon here on iRacing. But we cross the line for lap 45, and Randy Mullins has the lead. We'll wait for it. Once they cross the line, the top 10 have to cross it. Stephen Gibson. And we'll see if he's the winner. And there you have it, stage break. Here in the All About Sheet Metal 300 here at Kansas. And Randy Mullins takes the stage win. Well, that was exciting. There was a lot going on there. There is a lot of racing still yet to go. But some guys really made up some positions, and I'm interested to see what they do with Shane Davis here with this this connection issue. If they'll give him his lap back, allow him to get back into position, or if he will have to earn it back the hard way. He'll be the lucky dog recipient, which is really bad for Matt Cox. He was hoping to get that lucky dog, but Shane will likely get it. So we'll see what Race Control does. I think that'll be an interesting decision here from them. But Randy Mullins did take the stage win. Kyle Holden up 10 spots. Sean Rogers up 23 spots from where he started. Barry Sanders, haven't talked about him yet so far in that 88 machine, up 6 spots from where he started. Jordan Schmeet's right behind him, up 9 positions. And then you got some real big movers. Brandon Bikey, who is currently blinking out himself. I don't know what's going on here. Brandon Bikey blinking out. He has moved up 23 spots. Shane Parrish up 10. So we've got a lot of folks moving up through the field and making some really nice forward progress. Up front, though, it is Randy Mullins down into his pit stall. See if he can come in with the lead and leave with that lead. 4 tires and fuel will definitely be the call as they get ready to do the same thing over again. A little bit shorter run this time as they get to lap 90, and then we'll have 110 laps to the end of this thing. Great stop for Randy Mullins. Sean Kaltenbach going to come out in second place. Is Alex Coffey still sitting on pit road, and you don't really know. I don't know if he's got a penalty. We'll see as he when he leaves. If he leaves around the lap or around the 54-second mark on pit road, that's how you know he has gotten a penalty. But no, it looks like he's just fixing some damage that he had. Apparently, he had enough that it was worth sticking around, trying to get that fixed, lose a little bit of track position, but not be at disadvantage due to that contact with the wall that he's had a couple times. Well, as always, we want to talk to our stage winners. So let me grab Mr. Randy Mullins, who is your stage 1 winner. Randy, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Well, man, hey, you look really fast out there. You're able to run in different lines. That Ram 54 looking pretty fast. Able to get that stage win. Talk me through that first little stage.
Well, the car's been good since we fired off. I made some adjustments before the race started due to this late start and cool track. Put a lot of time in this week, but to step you through the stage, man, I started out kind of just running my own pace. And then when we got to lap 20, I knew, hey, let's pick it up. And then lap 30, pick it up some more. But for me as a driver, I got to move up the track because the tires will start to wear a little bit more on the right rear for me if I stay on the bottom. So if I move up, they seem to wear a lot even.
Well, you had some really nice battles back and forth with a couple drivers. How much fun are you having out there at Kansas?
Man, I'm having a blast. This place in Vegas I really like, but I'm definitely having a blast. I appreciate Alex and Shane running me clean and just having a good, clean battle. So hopefully we can keep it up, and we'll see what happens here in a little bit.
All right, well, there you have it. Randy Mullins, your stage 1 winner. And he sounds pretty confident. Seems like he's pretty chill, having a good time. So, hey, love to see it. And a great win. Now, it looks like Matt Cox is going to get another lap back here as he's going to take the wave around, stays out on track. And checking in on Shane P. Davis, and it looks like he is going to take the lucky dog. He's not going to get his position back, so he is going to restart in the 33rd position or so. We'll see once everything kind of gets settled down. So that blinking out that he had, what happens is iRacing, he doesn't cross the line. He was gone for so long that he didn't cross the line, and iRacing invalidated his lap, just like he's not there because he's not technically there. And so he actually loses a lap by the time he comes back. He gets scored for the next lap, but it's scored for that previous lap that he was on. So put him a lap down. He was able to get that lucky dog. Kind of not very good for Matt Cox. He's going to be 3 laps down now. But at least Shane was able to get back on lead lap. Just going to have a lot of work to do to get up through the field. Some penalties. Adam Chapman in the 82 with a speeding penalty. But getting ready to go green here. Randy Mullins going to lead us down with Sean Calton back to the outside. Randy Mullins holding on to the lead, but look at the cluster, you know what, behind him as everybody is fanning out all over this track. The top 4 on the bottom, but then you get back to Sean Rogers, Paul Gallimore. They're double file as they're all jockeying for positions. Lots of guys who have moved up through the field now have joined the fray, and it's only going to get more and more difficult up here, tighter and tighter, and less room for mistakes, and it could all go wrong here. One bad move, one wall bang, and we're going to see all these drivers get caught up in probably a Talladega Daytona-style big one. It can happen so quick here. You see the 3 of Hunter Carmichael actually push up in the middle of the corner, almost make contact with Sean Rogers. But, man, look at this battling going on. Cars everywhere. Let's go on board with Barry Sanders. I said, let's go on board. There we go. You can actually hear Barry working that throttle a little bit, but he is staying in it for quite a while, just some small lifts here and there, just to make sure the car doesn't push out to the outside. You don't want to carry too much speed. The car will just kind of sail on exit, especially in this dirty air. You see him shift down, get a little out of shape, had to catch it, going to lose a little bit of momentum. They're trying to work that outside, but it looks like it's a little bit loose up there, so look how much speed he's able to carry. He can keep his foot in it longer. And, yeah, just fighting a loose condition at the moment, it looks like, as he is really struggling to get the power down from middle exit. Ooh, has to get off the gas there. It got real tight there for Barry. As, man, look at the battles here. 3 wide. This is Jordan Schmeets, the 43 of Stephen Gibson. And the 14, it's showing the 44, but he's actually the 14 on the list of Sean Rogers. Man, they are going at it here. This is for the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th position. Well, Jordan Speech was able to get through, and now it's going to be between Sean Rogers and Steven Gibson. This is going to be a shorter stage than the last one. They had the laps to run, so you know, racing harder, not a bad idea here, especially if you're trying to make up some spots, get yourself into range of the lead. And so that's why I think these guys are racing as hard as they are, man. Look at how spread out these guys are all over the track. And they all come together right on the exits, and that could be a scary, scary moment. Look at the run the outside is actually getting. As you see the 44 or 14 of Sean Rogers now getting a run on Paul Gallimore as, whew, my goodness. Steven Gibson did not have a good exit there in the middle. Almost made contact. Up front, it is a 4-car breakaway, but Kyle Holden said it's time to go. Randy Mullins been out front for the last 11 laps, but now Kyle Holden has gotten to the front. Hey, I did pick him, I will say. It's going to be tough for Matt Cox to make it up, but Brandon Bikey has kind of been settled here in the 18th position, but up front, Kyle Holden now going for the lead. Not able to make the pass. Randy Mullins a successful defense, so Kyle will fall back into second place and might fall into the clutches of Sean Caldenbach. And Caldenbach going to go right down to the inside. And what really stinks about this is that the gap that they have built on the rest of the pack from fifth on back, they are starting to erode it. Running side by side, these guys are all single file behind them. And yes, the draft, not a huge effect, but down the straightaways, there is a pretty good toe. So, you know, running single file can definitely be a benefit. So these guys get settled in here as the pack starting to reel them in just a little bit. Kyle going for the lead, falls back to third place as Randy Mullins will take over the top spot again here on lap 62. About 28 laps to go in this stage. If you're up front, you're happy to be here. You're happy to be exactly where you are. There's no point in pushing it too hard. You want to save those tires. You want to make sure that your setup doesn't need any lasting changes. We have yet to see a natural caution, only the stage caution so far. So if we go green, that last stage, you want to be headed in the right direction. You don't want to be going backwards. So it's a good time to experiment, but it's also a good time just to ride, keep the car in a good shape, keep that track position, so when you come down for that pit stop at the end of stage number 2, you are in a good position to battle for the win. Randy Mullins looking really, really fast at the moment. He is setting the pace out front. And John Bender able to hold on. Actually goes by Sean Rogers for that 5th position. So Sean Bender, another driver that's on the move currently at the moment. He started in 23rd up to 5th. And he was faster than all of the leaders last lap. So he is scooting at the moment. Again, John Bender, the fastest driver on the track. He is moving. George Speech looking down to the inside of Sean Rogers. Getting a little bit tight here as we get later into this run. The right front starts to heat up a little bit more. That exit off the bottom can be tough if you're not set up for it. He looked down to the inside, just wasn't able to hold the momentum. You can see how much he lost by looking down to the inside. It definitely seems like you have to time your runs just right, or you lose just so much momentum. And you don't want to do that because there is a freight train behind you. Paul Gallimore, we saw him up front in stage number 1, but has been back here battling with this backside of the top 10. You see he's all over the back bumper of Jordan Schmeets here. He's able to clear Jordan, so move him up into the 7th position. So far, only one retirement in this race. That's Matt Mettler. He made it, about 15 laps and called it quits. I didn't see him have an accident, but must have had some sort of issue and decided to call it quits. And he is the only driver out of this race. Dean Motley started really late. He is 67 laps down. Not really sure what happened to him. But man, look at this. Paul Gallimore with Jordan Schmeets all over the back bumper. And then you go back here, Jeffrey Taylor, Josh Jean filling in for Kenny Coppola in that 77 car. And this is just a gaggle of cars. Brandon Bikey, Darren Mullins, Blaine Wilson, all right behind him. It doesn't seem like it's been too difficult to pass. You know, I wonder if we'll see, if we get a caution near the stage break, will anybody attempt to try to flip the stage or not? Could be a possibility. Check out Chris Spear back here. He's running in the 28th position. Started 15th, just struggling here. You don't know. Oh man, you can see how loose he is off the corner. And somebody's Jared Clark way off the pace as he goes around. As Chris Spear goes around him, that 69 UPS themed scheme got out of shape, must have got into the wall. And kind of talked about in that interview with Randy Mullins about the change in temperature. I think the race was at one point going to be a day race, but they changed it to a night race. So you kind of wonder how that is affecting these guys and their setups. You set up for one way, and you're not real clear, as Darren Mullins has exited out. So it looks like he has had some sort of issues. We'll go and check that out. What happened to Darren Mullins here on the replay? He was up here in this battle in the top 10. Ooh, just gets loose, and oh my goodness. Oh my God. Watch what this, he's got, look at the bumper cars going on right above him. He's going to get on the gas, and he's just going to get loose here. And he cannot catch it. Watch this. Or not. I don't know what happened here. Unless the screen went blank. I thought for sure he kind of got stuck in that like half spin, half going forward thing. But it looks like he turns right down to the wall. Yeah, it just turns straight down into the wall and says, yeet. Massive hit to that 64 machine. And he's out. That's it for him. So, interesting. Don't know what that was about. Now, sometimes you'll see that happen if somebody blinks out, if their screen goes blank and they can't see. They'll just cut a left and try to avoid making contact with anybody. So you wonder if maybe that's what happened. But massive hit to the inside wall. Jordan Schmeets side by side with Jeffrey Taylor. With Blaine Wilson looking on right outside. This has been sort of the, oh my goodness, as Jeffrey Taylor gets a little bit loose, almost makes contact with Blaine, and they're going to go 3 wide. Oh, they made a little bit of contact there coming off the corner. I don't know if Jeffrey knew they were 3 wide. That was a close call. Now Blaine looking down to the inside of Jordan. Let's go a little bit outside the top 10, show some different drivers, and show some of these battles that are going on back here. We got Caden Norfree in that number 20 white and blue Toyota, battling on the outside of Warren Young. And this is for the 16th position. Caden's going to get a nice run off the corner. Now here comes Shane Parrish up to the outside of the number 10. Well, we have come a long way, and it's all track from those Richmond and Martinsville races. I think Martinsville set a record 33 cautions in that one. It was a tough one to get through, and I'm sure it was frustrating for drivers, but this is a complete 180. How fun is it to be able to make passes, to be able to work your way through the field like Brandon Bikey has, like Sean Rogers, like Kyle Holden, and be able to get up through the field, get up to the front, and have some side-by-side racing where, you know, one line is not completely dominant. iRacing hasn't always been that way. For the longest time, iRacing was a very single-line dominant. That's where the grip was, and that's where you had to run. You really didn't have a choice. Well, and Kansas was a top-line track when it was released. The bottom just didn't work. Like, you could try to go down there, but it was just not going to work. Everybody had to run that outside line, very similar to Michigan back in the COT days. And just the work that iRacing has done to provide multi-group racing, and this is the culmination of it, is you're seeing just amazing ability for these guys to move all over the track, find a lane that works for them, go down to the bottom, and it looks so much like in real life. And it's due to the work that iRacing has put in over the years, and they've done a fantastic job. Fun to watch, fun to race. As Jordan Schmeets has gone around, the number 4. And caution is out here on lap 82. Jordan Schmeets goes around. Did he have some help? Let's go back and see. Up on the outside. To the inside of Blaine Wilson. Yeah, well, Blaine Wilson, massive hit to the outside, and that's where the caution came from. But, I mean, we've seen that's one thing about these type of tracks where you have that apron that you can run on. As he goes down on the apron, and he's expecting, I think he's expecting Blaine Wilson to kind of go back up the track, and when he doesn't, they make contact and right into the wall. Both of them go. We'll watch here from the blimp cam as you'll watch Jordan get a massive run as Blaine actually got loose there. And Blaine's going to hold it right there on that white line. And, yeah, Jordan Schmeets just comes right up the track, right into that number 18 machine. All right, well, we wondered who was going to try to flip the stage, and here we go. It's a great opportunity to do that, and it looks like we've got Kyle Holden, Brandon Bikey, Aaron Matthews, and others going to come down pit road to flip the stage here. As we only got just a few laps, so they're giving up stage points for the ability to have a better starting spot for the final stage. And, you know, I like the call. I know stage points are important, but if you need a win, if you want to win, this is not a bad strategy. So what he's going to do, he's going to go out on track. Green flag's going to drop and likely going to ride around at a very slow pace, not to put too much heat in the tires. Take care of that as much as he can. Then when the stage break caution comes out, he's obviously going to try to stay on the lead lap. But, you know, really the battle's going to be just between the drivers who came down pit road. But try not to put too much pressure on the tires, and then once the stage is over, flip back up to the lead with relatively fresher tires. So, nice little strategy out of these guys. Andrew Niedert Shane Davis, Paul Whitley, Jared Clark, Steven Gibson, Brandon Bikey, John Bender. A little bit of damage fix, it looks like, on his. Aaron Matthews as well. And Chris Davis. All doing something similar. Well, we're going to take a little short break, and we'll be right back for this Stage 2 finish. Just a second. All right, we're back. The All About Sheet Metal 300 here in the OB Builders Cup Series in the Moonshiner Racing League. A lot of layers to this race. I love it. Lots of lanes, lots of layers, and we have a nice little shootout here to the stage end on lap 90. So it looks like we're gonna have about 3 laps. Should get the one to go here, and there it is, 1 to green. So about a 4-lap shootout for Randy Mullins to try to get stage win number 2 on the day. And an update on Darren Mullins, that's exactly what happened. He had his VR headset actually crashed, and when that happened, he couldn't see what was going on. So that's the left turn into the inside wall to try not to cause any issues with anybody. What a great job by him to do that. Successfully kept it out of the racing groove and didn't affect any other drivers. So bummer to see that happen for him. He was having a great race. All right, a little shootout here. Randy Mullins, Sean Kaltenbach, Paul Gallimore, Sean Rogers, Barry Sanders in the top 5. All going to have a shot at some stage points in this stage victory. Into the Geico restart zone. Randy Mullins going to take the outside. Gets a great jump. Well, no saving tires here. They've got 39 laps on these tires. You got whatever you got left in the tank, you're going to put it all right here. And look at Barry Sanders all over the back bumper, shoving it into the corner. Gallimore actually gets a little bit loose on entry, but Sean Kaltenbach going for the lead, and he's going to take it. Randy Mullins maybe peeks to the inside, going to jump back up to the high side. He said he likes it up there. It's been good to him, and he's going to continue to run that as they come off of turn 2, and their deck come near 3 wide for the 4th or 5th position. Barry Sanders on the outside, you can see as everybody's running hard, they're all migrating to the top. Oh, my goodness, Alex Coffey. They're all wrecking the 3. Alex Coffey, big wreck. Multiple cars involved. The 10 of Warren Young, Hunter Carmichael, the 69 of Jared Clark, Alex Coffey, Josh Jean, Aaron Matthews was involved. The 74 of Paul Whitley. Multiple drivers involved as that was a massive wreck. And I don't even know exactly where that started, as it happened in multiple places. These guys are really hammered down. Let's see if we can go back and find out exactly what happened. Alex Coffey is where the first one started, but you're going to see the 3 of Hunter Carmichael have an issue. You're going to see Alex just get loose right here. Gets loose, trying to save it. Hunter Carmichael, as the order is changing so much due to pit stops, I can't catch him. But he was right in front of Alex Coffey, and he had the same issue, it looked like. He was kind of tucked in behind a couple drivers. You can see, he just comes right across the 23's nose of Jeffrey Taylor and just takes himself out. And I apologize about the replay, but yeah, everybody's making pit stops and trying to give you that good, but a bit hard to see. Watch. Good grief. All right, on board with Jeffrey Taylor. Watches the 3 right across his front nose. Barry Sanders got in the wall, so I think the 3 was just trying to avoid the 88, and man, it caused a big, huge stack up. Multiple drivers involved in that one. Aaron Matthews, one of those drivers that had come down pit road. And he was involved with it. Well, Kyle Holden comes back down pit road, and that's interesting. He came down and did that little, tried to flip the stage, but for some reason, I don't know if he was involved in an accident. He might have been. Yeah, he's getting some damage fixed right here. So, tough deal, as he had to come back down, get that damage fixed, because he has been on pit road for now about 40 seconds. So, must have been, got some damage in that wreck. So, Chris Davis will assume the lead after that stage win by Randy Mullins, I believe. Tell you what we'll do is we'll go bring Kyle Holden up into the booth. Kyle, this is Eddie. Well, you tried to flip the stage there, and it looks like you were involved in that melee back there. What happened?
I'm not really sure. They were wrecking in front of me, so I tried to stay as low as possible as I could, and then I thought I got through it, and then I kind of got hit from the inside from someone who was trying to get around all that too. So kind of spun me, slid my tires. I didn't take any tires this time. Should be hopefully fine. They should be cool off by now. So hopefully we should be okay, and we'll have some extra sets for later on.
Well, you look like you were really fast. You got up through the field. I know you're trying to catch up and go green here, but and I'll go ahead and let you go. But man,
right.
Good. Hopefully you can get back up towards the front.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, try to get that interview in, kind of snuck it in there, but they're getting ready to go green, so we definitely don't want to miss that. And don't want to be talking to him while he's trying to figure out where he's at. So, but yeah, it looks like did get a little bit of damage, but he's going to restart in 19th, and that wreck took out a lot of drivers. There's multiple folks. One driver who is definitely happy about it is Matt Cox, who's now just one lap down, so he's in the lucky dog position in 25th. So if we have another wreck, Matt will be able to recover and get back out towards the front. But here we go. Chris Davis, Steven Gibson, the guys who flipped the stage, now take over the lead, and they will restart up front into the Geico restart zone. Chris Davis has control of the start, gets a pretty good jump, and Gibson door banging with Jordan Schmeets at the line. My goodness, what is going on here? I like it. And another driver who flipped the stage, Brandon Bikey. These guys able to avoid any major contact in that massive big one. And now Brandon Bikey going to try to complete his massive run to the front, 34 spots. And you see the 43 of Gibson way up at the wall, trying to make some speed here early in this run. Jordan Speed's all over the back bumpers. We got 3 wide for the lead. Let's go off a 2. Brandon Bikey drives up to the front. Jordan Schmeets has to lift just a little bit. Bikey is through, but here comes Steven Gibson trying to follow Brandon Bikey up through here. Jordan Schmeets gets the run going. And he gets a great run off of 3 and 4. He might clear Chris Davis here for the second position. Man, great racing as they are 3 wide, multiple rows deep. Brandon Bikey gets clear, but Jordan Schmeets is head hunting at the moment as those fresh tires. Randy Mullen, stage 2 winner. You see him trying to navigate this slower traffic in his mind, I'm sure. They haven't been up front all race long, so he's got some new faces to race. Their tires a little bit older, but I'm sure they didn't run them that much, so he should be okay. He's not going to be that much faster. But as overall pace, all race long he has been, is Jordan Schmeets now going to the outside. I can't stop and talk about one dadgum thing before they go battling for the lead again as Randy Mullins and Steven Gibson door banging going into turn 3. Here comes Andrew Niedert as he's on the outside. Man, these guys, do they know we have over 100 laps to go? I don't think they're not racing like they do. They are racing their guts out. Here comes Andrew Niedert to the outside of Jordan Schmeets. He wants to lead. After that wreck, quite a few drivers actually out of this thing. Tim Wortman was involved. Alex Coffey, Nigel Christensen, Josh Jean, Warren Young, Blaine Wilson, all out due to that wreck. And caution is out. Paul Gallimore, slow on the front stretch. He has got some damage on that number 11 machine. Let's go back and see what happened to him. See him, I mean, just a cluster of drivers all around him. Gonna try to make it 3 wide, and yeah, just kind of gets collected there as there was some contact right in front of him. And he just kind of gets ping pong ball. That's the 3 of Hunter Carmichael right in front. I think Carmichael's gonna get a little bit loose here. Oh no, Barry Sanders checks up. Going to see the 88 of Barry Sanders have to check up here as he's 3 wide on the bottom. The car is going to get tight. And when that happens, he's got to lift just a little bit. And then it's sort of a chain reaction behind him. And Paul Gallimore, unfortunately, goes spinning. Somebody just comes blasting through that. I don't know who that was, but that was crazy. Who was that? Oh, my goodness. Maybe that was Ed Bowles Jr., and he comes blasting in, and look at the contact he made with the 24, Nick King. Let's go on board with him. I think he was the one that went just kind of flying through there. There's the wreck happening up on the track, and watch Bowles. Tries to keep his foot in it. Then I don't know what happened here as they're slowing down for the caution. Caution is out. Oh, it's some contact right in front of him. What darnation is going on? I think it's the 82. Yeah, it was the 82 of Adam Chapman. Just takes a hard right. I don't know if he just didn't know or if there's some bad blood here between the 82 and the 24, but yeah, my goodness, that was really rough. Slowing down for the caution. I mean, they were extremely slow. I'm confused myself of how that happened. It doesn't look like it was on purpose at all. And it looks like it was just the slightest contact that they were 3 wide here, slowing down for the caution. And just Man, that's wild. I mean, it looks like it knocked the 24 enough. He was trying to catch it, and it just cuts across the 38's bumper. I know I'm probably spending a little bit too much time on this, but that I could not figure out what was going on there. But caution is back out. A few drivers come down pit road there. I don't know if they took a set of tires or what they decided to do, but Darren Mills, Paul Gallimore, Jared Clark, a couple of those guys involved in incidents. John Bender, Chris Spear, all came down pit road there to either get some damage fixed or get another set of tires. But as far as the front runners go, not really any movement there. Randy Mullins has been able to work his way back up to third. And those tires look like they're pretty good. He's got 5 laps difference. Probably just a couple on-track laps. Maybe just 1 or 2 green flag difference between these drivers. So we're going to get the 1 to green here. Andrew Niedert out front with Jordan Schmeetz. The best names in the field. And right now, it's hard to really, there's a lot that can happen here in 100 laps. We're just over halfway. But no more stage breaks. So these, we won't have any more breaks of, caution. And it's possible we go green all the way. So Randy Mullins really has looked the best overall. And there's been a few drivers who I think have opportunities to have a car fast enough to win. They have been caught up in a lot of trouble. Jordan Schmeetz, Andrew Nieder, they are the couple that flipped the stage. Brandon Bikey started in the very back. He has shown he has plenty of speed. So we're going to find out right here, especially if we get a long green flag run, who's got what up in this top 10. Fuel runs right around the 60 lap mark, somewhere around in there. So at least going to have one more stop if we go green all the way. All right, getting ready to go back green. Nieder, Schmeetz out front. Green flag is out here on lap 101. When you're dealing with new tires behind you, maybe a little bit faster drivers, the best thing you can do is get a massive, massive lead. And that's what Nieder does. He's able to get that thing out front, but man, Randy Mullins quickly makes up time in 3 and 4, and he is all over the back bumper of that 19 machine. I just feel like that 54 is the man to beat at the moment. Can anybody get up here and challenge him, especially later on in the run? He seems to have the speed on the short run and middle of the run. And you can see just a slight bit of difference in tires. And he just takes the lead away. Randy Mullins back out front here, lap 103. Battle for third. As you got fresh tires behind him, Sean Rogers in that 44, 14, whatever one. He is trying to work himself back up towards the front. Oh, going to make a little bit of contact. Man, Steven Gibson self-cleared going through the corner. And, man, that was almost another massive pile up there as, man, they made just the slightest bit of contact. But both drivers did a great job of keeping it together. They're going to lose a little bit of time to the leaders doing that. As here comes the 20 of Caden Norford. I mean, there's a lot of folks who have made up a ton of spots. Just in the top 5 alone, Randy Mullins made up 7 spots. Nieder, 19. Brandon Bikey, 35. Jordan Schmeetz, 18. Sean Rogers, 25. Caden Norfrey, 26 spots from where he started. So the top 5 is just a wild and crazy group of drivers. Randy Mullins been up front since the start of the green flag, drove up, took the top spot, won stage 1, but everybody else is brand new to this, and they are showing what they have right now, that track position, showing why it's so important. Well, all right, well, there's been a big change, a lot of drivers involved in incidents, and at this moment, I want to know, if you're in chat, who you got to win this race? Just a little over halfway. Be a great time to throw your pick in there. Who do you think is going to get this dub? And we can go back and look and see who was right. I don't have any money in my wallet to give you, but I'll give you a gold star in chat if you pick the winner. Everybody getting single file all the way back to about 12th position. And I think this is the calm that you expect at the beginning of the longest stage, stage number 3, where you want to be there on the long run. You want to take care of those tires. We've already had some wild stages, a lot of crazy driving, everybody having a good time, but now it's time to settle in because you got to be there for the long haul. Okay, Norfrey takes over the 4th position with a little slider on Sean Rogers. Sean going to drive in right on his bumper. Give him a little shove down in the corner. As we look forward to the rest of this little run here, you know, when do you pit? I think it's going to be a pretty big question. You know, what's the right, what's the wrong? It's always tough to really say. In short pit, you might gain a little bit of time, but you're going to be slower at the end of the run. You also could get caught by a caution, go a lap down. You could just, it could really put you in a bad spot. If you run long, that's usually the way to go. But you know, if somebody pits a little bit early, they get out to a pretty big lead. You're not able to pass them at the end of the run. It's also possible, or you just don't have enough time to make up the difference. So I would expect those folks to come in right around lap 150. I think that's probably the best mark. I think it's really balanced. Right now, I mean, the tire fall off is really not there. It's just very small amounts. So 3 wide. Sean Kaltenbach, Kyle Holden, and Sean Rogers, as Kyle Holden has been able to make his way back up through the field like he said. So Kyle Holden not out of this thing. Oh, he's going to make a great move down to the inside. Caden Norfrey shoots down to the inside, but Kyle Holden, look at him, all over the back bumper. He is moving quickly. Got that damage fixed. Going to get a kind of stalled out there behind the 44. Going to get a big push from the 52 behind him. Going to dive down to the inside, though. They're going to go side by side. Well, man, Brandon Bikey all over the place up in front of him. Tracy Holden says it's hard to say, but I'm going to pull for Kyle Holden. Well, hey, I don't blame you. Just based on name alone, I'm assuming there's a little bit of a relationship there. So I don't blame you one bit for picking Kyle. And he's looking good at the moment, so that pick may turn out to be a good one. He's not going to be able to clear Sean Rogers here off the bottom. But, man, I tell you what, have a little bit of damage, about 52 seconds worth on that pit stop, to come out and be this fast here early, he is really, really hunting down. Brandon Bikey now to the inside of Andrew Niedert. I thought Bikey was kind of falling back a little bit. Woo, look at Kyle Holden sticking right in front. Oh, Paul Gallimore hard into the wall back off of turn 2. Steven Gibson involved. Paul Gallimore, big damage again as he is involved in a second wreck, and caution is out here on lap 115. Watch there as that yellow and white. We'll see what happened. We'll all see together. You can see the 43, Steven Gibson, right in front. Gallimore down to the inside, and yeah, oh man, what a tough hit. And I think both these drivers will see this different ways. I think Gibson that's a tough deal. And that's just one of those things where you got two competitors fighting for the same real estate, and they, you know, the 11 is expecting the 43 to go out to the wall here, and the 43 doesn't have to, but you kind of expect that driver to kind of wash out to the wall on exit, but he holds it low, and when that happens, the 11 just comes right up into him. Just expect him to clear out to the wall. Watch right here. You can see the 43 just holds it low on that middle lane off the exit. Pretty peculiar, so I can understand why Gallimore wasn't expecting it, but they make contact into the wall. Hard to really say whose fault, if that is any fault. But pit stop's happening. Randy Mullins wins the battle off of pit road. And I'll tell you who actually wins in this whole thing is those drivers who flip the stage. Brandon Bikey, Andrew Nieder, they have been able to flip the stage, hold on, get that caution, and now they're on equal footing and equal tires, which is, I think, the same thing as equal footing. So, a really great decision there. Kyle Holden, he had to earn it the hard way, but he is in third place. All that he used as far as tires go to get to the front, now he is on equal footing. So, really great decision making. You know, sometimes luck plays a lot into that, but they are set up really nice here for a run to the finish. Now, interesting fact about this run to the finish is that we are just outside of a fuel run. You wonder who is saving fuel at the moment to try to make it on just one stop. See Mullins here just riding around in fifth gear. Here Bikey kind of pushing that clutch in a little bit. It looks like everybody not quite sure that you can make it the whole way, and you can actually make it maybe a little bit more than 60 laps, so they may be good on fuel. You know, I really only have a range. It just depends on how you run, how much throttle you're using the whole run, whether or not you can make it, but they could probably make it about 64 laps, I think. So if they can do that, they can definitely make it on one more stop, but it's definitely worth considering. We've got a green-white checkered always looming. And so it seems like they're all saving just a little bit. You see some drivers out in front of Randy Mullins here. That's Alex Coffey. He is 10 laps down. He's trying to take the wave around here, but 10 laps is going to be tough to gain that back. You got Johnny Shade, who's running in the 26th position. You got Blaine Wilson, who is in 29th. He's 10 laps down. And you got Tim Wortman Jr., who is in 28th. 7 laps down. So they're going to try to take the wave around, try to get some of those laps back. Hopefully there's some cautions that help them out, get them back on the lead lap at some point. Just try to gain as many spots as they can. But it looks like for Tim Wortman Jr., that streak of winless streak going to continue here tonight, as he was caught up in a pretty big pile up. Well, alrighty, 80 laps to go here at Kansas. Been a pretty great race so far. I don't expect that to change anytime soon. These guys have been really racing hard. Definitely has calmed down here on this final stage. But I'm interested to see how these guys with the tires that are now equal, they've been up front. They've kind of felt how the air, their car handles, you know, back in traffic, back in the 20s, the high teens. It's really tight. Up here, you get a little bit looser. We saw Brandon Bikey get a little bit out of shape a couple times, so I wonder if he's adjusted on that and tried to get it back into a more balanced situation now that he's up front. Pace car is off, though. Randy Mullins going to have control of the restart into the Geico restart zone. Takes off. Green flag is out here. 80 laps to go in this race. Oh, Andrew Nieder tried to jump down to the bottom. Kyle Holden was there. They almost made a little bit of contact. But so far, so good. As here comes Sean Rogers down to the inside. This is the most frustrating part of the race, especially if you have a long-run car like Randy Mullins has. Lord have mercy, these guys can push it. There is some saving that can be done here at Kansas. And you see, man, how fanned out they are all over the tracks. Brandon Bikey's going to get loose again. Oh, the 33 goes around. John Bender goes around, gets turned, and caution, right back out. And you can see they were all over the place. And he's going to get loose. Not really anybody's fault there. Those cold tires. Watch here as he gets loose. And it happened so fast, but the tires are cold. They don't have the temperature put in them just yet. You lean that right rear up on that top line, the car gets loose, and we've heard it to death. The next gen car just does not give you any kind of warning, and it's just a little bit too late. We saw Johnny Shade 2-foot smash it earlier in the race. That's about the only thing you could do in iRacing to prevent complete spin out. But even then, the same thing would have happened. Johnny Shea got run over from behind doing that. And, you know, he was trying to save it, but gets run over from behind as well. So really not much you can do in those situations. Once it gets loose, it is really, really tough to hang on to these things. But have to wait on the tires to get up to temperature just a little bit. And it takes a couple laps. The sensation that you feel as you go down to the corner and you're expecting a certain grip level and it's just not there. It's a little bit tighter on entry, tighter on middle. And then you gas it up trying to get that same feel you've had in the middle of a run once the tires are up to temp. And then it gets so tight that it eventually just breaks loose as you try to gas through it. So, first couple laps, you really have to be tender with it. A little TLC. Until those tires do get up to temperature. Then once they hit that optimal temperature, then you can start to hammer down. It seems like about the third, fourth, fifth lap is where it gets really quick here at Kansas. So you just have to be kind of eyeballing that, and some drivers around these folks seeing what's happening, they'll take note of it. As we get a couple cycles, though, if we have a couple cautions, it won't be as a big as an effect as if, you know, once you go down pit road. We'll take a look at the weather here. 71 degrees, air is 68. I mean, that is about as cold as it gets on iRacing. So it takes just a little bit of extra time to get up to temperature, but once it does, it is gripped up out here. You're not hurting. Not going to be hurting for grip. You can really sail it. You see Brandon Bikey down here. Maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel. I don't know, it's the weirdest fuel saving I've ever heard. It sounds like he's playing like an old Atari game. Well, all right, big storyline so far. You know, Matt Cox having that disconnect. He has been able to get back on the lead lap. I think he was down 5 or 6, maybe 7 laps down at some point. And Matt Cox showing why he's second in points and one of my picks for the race. And he's still in it. I think all of my picks are still in this race. Brandon Bikey, Kyle Holden running third and fourth, and now Matt Cox in 17th, back on the lead lap. So great job by him to stay in it. Man, it's so easy to quit these things when something goes wrong. And you kind of say, well, I don't want to run under, run the rest of this race 7 laps down. But he makes all the right decisions, and now he's able to try to push that 32. And now that half the field is wrecked out, he has less cars to pass. So Matt Cox still in this thing. But obviously some big issues as Alex Coffey, who is now 10 laps down, probably not going to be able to get those back at this point. So your points leader going to be struggling, and that's, another plus to Matt Cox, who's second in the points, to be able to try to make up a ton on Alex Coffey just by sticking with it. But Alex, Blaine Wilson, Ed Bowles Jr., those guys, Paul Gallimore, Tim Wortman, Aaron Matthews, Johnny Shade, Shane Davis, they are in trouble. and they're going to need a lot of help. A lot of those guys are having great days, really good days, and it does not take long for it to go south here with no fast repairs. All right, Randy Mullins has the lead. Going to have control of the restart yet again as we move on into the lap 125 of 200. 75 laps to go here in this race. Still likely a pit stop. It's not likely, it's for sure. They're going to need a pit stop. So you still got to save a little bit. You can't make it to the end on fuel, but you still need to save tire, be good on the long run. As you can see, if you're not good on the long run, it's quite easy to lose 10 positions as everybody's kind of stacked on top of each other. But it's gotten a little bit more aggressive. It was really calm there for a while, and then now on these restarts, you have to make up so much time. Kyle Holden down to the inside of Brandon Bikey. Trying to put that 59 machine up into the podium position. He does. Takes over that spot. Sean Kaltenbach now looking to the inside. Not quite able to get the run that Bikey gets off the top side. Bikey right down to the bottom to try to block that run. The 44 of Sean Rogers on the outside. Bikey gets a nice run now back on the back bumper of Kyle Holden. Oh, caution out again. Oh, Darren Mills. Good grief. Darren Mills, maybe Shane Parrish involved in this one is, my goodness. What the hell happened? Watch him right here. 3 wide behind him. Oh, Darren Mills going to get loose. Down. Oh, my goodness. And I don't know who he clobbered there. That was a Ram driver. Darren just gets loose. That was a 74, Paul Whitley, who was the victim in that one. You can already see Darren just a little bit out of shape in that tube machine. Car just not handling. Definitely looks a little bit loose, and you can see right there, just loses it off the top, tries to hold on to it. Boom, massive contact. And out of frustration, just drives it into the wall, kills it, and he'll call it a night. Back under caution. So far, without the 2 stage breaks, we have had 5 cautions on the night, 14 lead changes. It has been a really exciting race. A lot going on, a lot of moving parts. Definitely a struggle for me to keep up with all of the things that are going on. Because there's been a lot to talk about. Well, let's talk to some drivers. Let's try to get somebody up in here and talk to them. Andrew Niedert seems like a pretty good, solid pick to bring up into the booth. You're running in second, Andrew. You're able to flip the stage, made up a ton of track position, and now you're sitting second with just about 70 laps to go. Still have a green flag pit stop to make. How's that 19 machine driving right now?
It's not too bad, especially on the, I don't know, the first 20 laps or so. Late in the run, it gets a little, just a little off, but I think we're running too hard here. So I don't know. I need to decide if we're going to ease off a bit and try to get a good green flag run or just run her for all she's worth. I don't know yet. We'll find out.
Well, you can pretty much split this one in half, and just, you know, how difficult it is to make that decision. If you save, you know you're going to lose 5 to 10 spots, and if you push, you know you have you're in trouble of maybe burning your stuff up. So how do you make that decision? At what point do you say, okay, this is too far back, I need to push? How do you kind of balance that?
Yeah, I think right now with the third stage having so many cautions, I think I'm leaning towards just push it. I think people are starting to realize the pay window's open. And so, yeah, I think I'm leaning towards just push it. So to answer your question, it's just based on how everybody else is running.
Well, you put yourself in a really good position. You're running in second place. Really great strategy call, and that car looks pretty fast. So good luck here on this final stage.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Andrew Niedert in second place. Feels pretty confident, and you can see the kind of wheels are turning for these guys about what they need to do. And kind of talked about it. Track position, really, really important. But tire saving also. So it's a balance. You can't choose one or the other. And I love that Andrew Niedert is sort of like, hey, I'm going to adapt here. I can't just say one or the other, because he's right. You can't. You got to do what the others. You coming down on the on ramp onto the interstate, and you have to blend in, and that's sort of what you have to do here in these situations. It's not easy. The guys who say, I'm going to come in here and just save tire, and I'm just going to save real hard. If they want to go and buy me, I'll pass them back later. But that's not that easy when the field is competitive as it is. Because here we've seen just how close everyone is, especially on these restarts. If you take it easy, you might end up going from second all the way back to 15th or so, and then you got to pass 14 cars to get back where you were. So there's definitely a balance you have to strike of, okay, I don't push my car as hard, but I might push a little bit just to maintain, try to defend a position. But then when I'm running, nose to tail with the leader, just take it a little bit easy. Try not to overheat the tires. It's a balance that you really have to work through, and that's the fun. I think that makes the difference between really good drivers and and great ones. It definitely you have to adapt. You have to find what's working for somebody else. Try to do that yourself. But getting ready to go green. Couple caution flags here. Going to get ready to go green with just under 70 laps to go in this race. Great restart for Randy Mullins. Side by side, Kyle Holden, Andrew Niedert. Brandon Bikey trying to give a shove to Andrew on the outside. Kyle Holden looks to be pretty quick up here as Brandon, though, is up at the top trying to ride that rim, trying to get the run off the corner. Gets a nice run down the straightaway. See if he can get to the outside of the 19. He can't. We'll see if he goes to the inside or continues to run that top. He's going to run that top as Andrew tries to keep up with your leader. Now they're going to be 3 wide back here. Kyle Holden struggled there. Now back a few rows, and I wonder if he's not doing that saving that we talked about. And you can see how quickly you can get overtaken. Man, it does not take long. And you see he's in a hornet's nest. There's so many things that can go wrong here. Contact could end your day. And you can see he's really stacking those drivers up. Now, if he can maintain, save a little bit more than the guys in front of him, run them down later, it's not a bad idea. But you just have to be careful you don't fall back too far. And you see Brandon Bikey actually falling back as well. So definitely some big decisions being made here of, hey, I'm going to save my car and try to have a really good long run speed here. As you saw Bikey up on the outside, and he has made a very clear decision that he is going to back off here and take it easy as he continues to fall back to about the 6th, now 7th position. And he's got Caden Orfrey all over the back bumper of that one machine. Up in the 2nd position, Sean Kaltenbach has gotten to the back bumper of his teammate. These two are working together. They are on BMP's Team Speed Freaks. So they are working together here, trying to run down your leader, Randy Mullins, who has really been lights out. And as soon as I say that, here comes Sean down to the bottom. I guess they caught up just enough. So these two are going to battle side by side after catching Randy. And as they do get side by side, Randy pulls away just ever so slightly, but Andrew's going to get the run off the corner, and he's going to be able to hold on to that second position. Nice run on entry. Nice exit for Andrew. Get a little tight here off of 2. That's going to scrub some speed off. As you can hear, he got shifted down to 4th and then really hammered down on the throttle in 1 and 2. That's brave. I don't like doing that on the bottom. But that setup seems to work really good like that. He was able to make the exit. The 52 is all over the back bumper, pushing him. Sean up the track, using that top side to get a run. He's not successfully able to make a pass on his teammate, but he is definitely trying to keep up that momentum so he can use it down the straightaway. But honestly, Sean Rogers gets a nice run off the bottom. As here comes Kyle Holden. We wondered if he was saving a little bit too much. He got stuck back there in the 6th position, and he comes out of nowhere. Kyle, with that damage, you thought maybe the car would really be struggling. But, man, I'm going to be honest, that 59 looks like he can go whenever he wants to. And you really don't know how hard everybody's driving. You really – oh, they're going to make contact as Sean, like he might have wanted to go down to the inside, and Kyle and Sean make contact. And that was a scary moment up here for the battle for 3rd. Oh, and Andrew gets loose. Has to check up, and boy, they had to make evasive maneuvers to get around him. And that 19 falling through the field from 2nd all the way to 7th now. And now going to lose 8 to Hunter Carmichael. So scary moment there for the 19. He's able to hold on to it. Everybody able to get around him without much issues. Now he's going to have to hunt and get back up there. He definitely seems like he has a fast car as he jumps up to the outside almost immediately. And you can see, oh my goodness, he gets really loose there. But you can see what he's holding on to. He's trying to save a little bit, but now that he's lost those positions, he's able to hammer down and make those spots up pretty quickly. And you can see just how good that 19 is driving. Get a run off the top side, now go down to the inside of Brandon Bikey. So it seems like these guys are trying to play a cat and mouse game of who can save the most, because Andrew able to immediately hammer down and make his way back up into the top 5. So you do not know who is really giving 100% at this moment. It's really hard to tell. It just seems like track position is what you want to, your gauge. You know, where am I at on the track? If I'm up front, we'll take it easy. If I'm in 2nd, take it easy. If I'm in 7th, I'm gonna push it like Andrew Dieter did. Said, I'm not running in 7th. I'm gonna go. Kyle looking down to the inside, and man, Justin Belmont, where the hell did he come from? That 6th machine hauling the mail as he almost makes contact with Kyle Holden as they were almost 3 wide there. So Belmont, I ain't talked about him all night long, and I think he knew that and said, hey, I'm going to get up here and make sure you say my name. Oh, they almost put Brandon Bikey in the wall. Justin Belmont is driving like a wild man here, and we still got a long way to go. Look at this jockeying for position. They go back and forth, top to bottom. Somebody will slide in front of another guy, and he will not like it. Brandon Bikey going to try to do a little slider on Justin Belmont. Boy, it's going to get tight right here as Andrew Nieder gets a nice run off the corner. And 4 cars were nose to tail there off of turn 4. Now Bikey looking down to the inside of Kyle Holden. Kyle trying to hold in that third place the best he can, try to stay there. Man, look at how wild these guys are driving. They are all over the place making moves. As we've been watching Caden Norfrey kind of hang out right outside the top 5 for quite a while. Andrew trying to work that outside, just hasn't been able to get back. Now he's falling back to 7th. He drove back up to 5th. And then that car just not driving good. You know, if he did get loose, we really didn't see it. But if he got loose and heated up that right rear tire, it only gets worse if you continue to run that outside line and push it. So I think Andrew may be in trouble here, as that car is not driving like he wants. You can see that little bit of counter steer on entry. That tells you he is loose. It's fun. I mean, definitely got to be having a good time, but you can see very little wheel input. When he gets back on the throttle, that tape creeps back over to the top. Actually, it gets a little bit tight behind Sean Rogers there. Has to put a little bit of wheel in it. Watch turn 1 and 2 if he does run the outside. How loose he's actually looking. Right as he gets on throttle here, look at that. Car yawls out just a little bit. And you can see he's feathering the throttle, having to get a little bit of counter steer on exit. So he is definitely loose and has to be careful. And it's already almost bit him a couple times. Oh my goodness. Well, my voice is going to be shot here in 50 laps, but hey. That is all right. I'm expecting a wild finish. Randy Mullins still out front. Who's going to be able to save enough tire to have something at the end of this run? They have been on the track for about 34 laps. Oh, man. Right behind him, Sean Rogers, Caden Norfrey almost made contact. I think they did just a little bit. Sean Rogers did a great job of hanging on to that car. Sean running that middle line at the moment. I think he wants to run the top, but Caden's up there. He seems to be avoiding the bottom. And again, run right on his left rear quarter. Going to slide up in front of Andrews. Andrew gets a nice run. But when will we see pit stops? There's still one more final stop here left to go. And, you know, you just, I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for me to pull the trigger if I'm up here in this lead group to come early. Just because of the danger of going a lap down and having a caution come out. That would really be detrimental to your race. But, you know, if we do stay green, you know, you can put a lot of time on this front group. You see Hunter Carmichael get into the wall just a little bit. It's a hard decision. They're well within the window right now. They could pit if they wanted to, but they would have to go the longest that anybody has gone on tires if you pitted right now. So I doubt we'll see that, but somebody brave enough to try a pretty wild undercut and hold on to it, because if the pits do cycle around, they will definitely have a pretty nice lead. And they'll just have to hold off hard charging fresh tires. But if you're falling back, I mean, if you're Andrew Nieder, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. He is already back to the 11th position. He is really, really struggling in that 19 machine. Saw him get loose a couple times, and it's really just not gotten any better. He's trying to maintain, but just continues to fall back. So, you know, Andrew would be a guy that I would think that, hey, come on down pit road, try to make something happen here. Because right now, I mean, you're going the wrong way. Up front, still battle for this third position as Randy Mullins, Sean Kaltenbach have started to gap this little group here as Brandon Bikey gets a run on the outside of Kyle Holden, going to take over that third position. 40 laps here, we are starting to see who's good on old tires, who's good at saving. And right now, I mean, Randy Mullins is showing the way. And it's really been class of the field all night long. Still side by side. Kyle Holden down on the bottom, Brandon Bikey up top. When will that final pit stop come? I mean, they are right there on the edge. They can go probably another 20 laps or so. So at any moment from here in the next 20 laps, we could see somebody come down pit road and take that final stop. But it'll be a big gamble for sure. You see Hunter Carmichael blinking out just a little bit there down on the bottom of that black and green number 3 machine. But Justin Belmont shoves him down into the corner. And here we go. We got somebody going to try it. Barry Sanders going to come down pit road, and the pit road cycle is now open. So I'm excited to see how this is going to play out. Oh, he actually misses his stall. That's not good. You don't want to do that. Be able to get it backed up, get back on in his stall. So going to get 4 tires and fuel. This is the final stop, a 40-lap run he's going to have. He's going to have to just ball out here and go as hard as he possibly can. Right now, Randy Mullins, your leader, running a 31 flat, so it's about a 1 second fall off from their best times, about 9/10 to 1 second. So he can run 1 second a lap faster than these guys, and if he runs about 15, 20 laps, that's a lot. Now, when they come out of pit road, they'll be rolling, but I like this call. I like this strategy call. Do something different. See if you can make some hay. And if it does cycle around and they come out of pit road and you get a caution, you might be the leader. And that would be really nice. Come down pit road and gain a ton of spots that way. Well, your top 5 right now is Randy Mullins, Sean Kaltenbach, Kyle Holden, Brandon Bikey, Hunter Carmichael has now joined the fight for the top 5. Justin Belmont in 6th. Sean Rogers in 7th. Jeffrey Taylor in 8th. Caden Orfrey in the 9th position. Andrew Nieder in 10th. In 11th is Jordan Schmeets. Chris Davis in the 12th position. Matt Cox has recovered up to a 13th position. He's probably going to need a caution to get back really into this thing. He is running just as fast as the leader, maybe faster. But he is in 13th. 14th is going to be Brandon Fetterplace. John Bender in 15th. Jared Clark in 16th. 17th, Chris Spear. Nick King in 18th. Paul Whitley 19th, and Barry Sanders now coming out of pit road. He is in 20th. So the danger of this pitting this early is that right now Barry Sanders is a lap down, and there's your leaders. He is about going into turn 1 now, and they're going into turn 3 and 4. So he's going to make up that time, get back on the lead lap. As Brandon Bikey really struggling with his internet issues at the moment. Somebody goes way up the track. I think that's Sean Kaltenbach. He's going to lose a couple spots there. Just not sure maybe where Brandon was. Oh, there it is. The caution. Oh, my goodness. And Barry Sanders, that's the danger. And you don't know what it was for. It looks like maybe Jordan Schmeets is slow on the track. Jordan Schmeets in... yeah, it looks like he was the one involved. Let's see if we can go back and find out what happened here to Jordan. Going to get loose. And spins out on the entry to pit road. I don't know if he was trying to get down on pit road or not. Check it out here. On board Schmeets. Yeah, trying to get down on pit road. Brake bias a little bit too low, maybe. Then gets that apron. It really upsets the balance of the car. And around he goes. All right, caution is out. You can make it all the way, so I expect everybody to come down pit road. And for Barry Sanders, he will get the lucky dog. So that's good, but he'll lose all that track position back to 19th position. Down pit road we go. This is a big, big battle. Who can come out with this lead? Randy Mullins has it. As, man, Brandon Bikey throwing his hands up in the air. Speeding penalty, maybe for the one. No speeding penalty. Go back and see if we can see what happened. Oh, he slid through his pit box. Well, the way how animated he was, I thought for sure he had sped. But it looks like onboard Bikey here is going to watch him go down into his box here. He's going to slide right through. Has to back up just a little bit, then has to back up again. That's the most frustrating thing when that happens. Is you lose so much time. He's going to come out at sort of a disadvantage. Comes out in the 6th position. Randy Mullins with a bad pit stop. He had a 16.2 in his box, which means he elected to fix a little bit of damage, which is surprising. He's going to give up the lead to do that, so maybe he felt like the damage was hurting him bad enough. I don't know. That's really weird. That's 2 seconds of damage he elected to fix and gave up 6 spots to do it. Barry Sanders going to give up where he's running right now, come back down pit road and get 4 more tires, it looks like. But Hunter Carmichael wins the battle off pit road, and he will take over the lead here with just over 30 laps to go. So, interesting call to see Randy Mullins because that box timer is when they finally stop and their pit stop begins, and he spent 16.2 seconds there. So that's definitely a little bit of damage he fixed. So he's got a lot of confidence in that 54 that he can drive up through these guys. But giving up the lead with just 30 laps to go, I'm blown away by that call. So now Hunter Carmichael in that 3 out front. Going to have control of the restart. Sean Kaltenbach has looked really, really fast. As, man, a lot of guys with connection issues tonight. That makes you nervous. Well, let's take a short break as we get ready to get this thing back going so we give you all 30 laps uninterrupted. And we'll be right back. All right, back here on V-Speed for the All About Sheet Metal 300. Hunter Carmichael is your leader. Sean Kaltenbach is in 2nd. Sean Rogers in 3rd. Kyle Holden in 4th. Jeffrey Taylor now cracks the top 5. Brandon Bikey in 6th. Randy Mullins in 7th. Bikey with that sliding through his pit stall. Randy Mullins fixed a little bit of damage. And Andrew Niedert in 8th. I know he's glad that caution came out because he was really, really struggling. But here we go. Just a little bit over 30 laps to go, and we are hammered down now. There's no saving at this point. We're going to see all kinds of wild action as green flag is out. And don't look now, Matt Cox in that 32 machine. He is sitting there in 11th, fresh tires, and he's ready to go on the hunt. As Hunter Carmichael gets a great jump out front. Sean Rogers going to follow in his tire tracks. You got a side-by-side battle between Jeffrey Taylor and Sean Kaltenbach. Then you got Brandon Bikey, Kyle Holden going side by side, just right behind him. Couple laps. We've talked about that. Fresh tires. You got to give it a couple laps. We won't see any wild moves here. Got to watch out for that loose condition that can happen if you push that car a little bit too hard. But up front, Sean Rogers trying to take the lead here. He's going to get to the outside. Side by side for the lead here on lap 170. Sean Rogers been hanging around up front all race long and now has decided he wants to take the lead. Not quite able to clear Hunter Carmichael completely, but he'll get the run off the top side this time by, and Sean Rogers takes over the top spot. As you can see, that little pass, that one little thing brought the rest of them right up to him. And now here comes Sean Kaltenbach trying to join the action. It's a nice run, not a huge run here. We'll see what he decides to do with it. He's going to take a dive down to the inside. Hunter Carmichael's been running. Oh, he's going to bounce it off the apron a little bit. That's going to hurt him. Pushes up the track. Hunter Carmichael trying to fight, but not quite able to clear that 52. The 52 had a nice little run until he hit that apron. It just kind of bounces the car under that white line, and it, man, when you do that, it throws the car out to the wall, and you have to be careful. Side by side, Kyle Holden, Jeffrey Taylor. Sean Kaltenbach all the way up at the wall. Kyle Holden there as well. And you see Sean gets a massive run off of turn 2. He's going to dive down to the inside of Carmichael into turn 3. Can he clear him? He's going to try to maybe slide up in front of him, and he does. So move Sean Kaltenbach up into second. That was a pretty great sequence of turns. He's going to try that again. Going to run the middle line this time. Is the 3 going to dive down to the inside? The 3 actually gets a pretty good position on him. A little bit of side draft off of the corner. But the run off the top side just too strong. As Holden going to make that pass, and even Jeffrey Taylor. I can tell you one thing, when you see the mouth open, you know we got some concentration going on right now. And so you can tell that steering wheel's all over the place. I think he gets about 2 or 3 more horsepower if he'll stick his tongue out just a little bit. You can see that car is not handling great, but it's fast. Trying to make that outside work as, man, Sean Kaltenbach really put the pressure there on Kyle Holden, kind of cut him off. As look at this battle for the lead. Sean Rogers up on the outside. He's going to get into the wall just a little bit. And these guys are all piling in right behind him. 2 by 2, 3 rows deep for second place. This is going to come down to the wire. I can just tell as you see Paul Whitley there. Going to be some lap traffic that's going to... Oh, contact for third. Holden, Jeffrey makes contact down the straightaway. Oh, Carmichael goes around. No caution, he saves it. Oh, he's going to make more contact. The 20, Caden Norfrey. Massive hit into the outside wall. Justin Belmont in the 6 involved as well. And Hunter Carmichael, who started out front here on this final run, is out of this thing. You see the 3 and the 20 right there. They make contact down to the inside. And then big contact for the 20 after the fact. There's the initial contact. He actually saved it there, then all of a sudden turns it back right in front of the track. Boom. Yeah, I'm not really sure who that was that hit him, but man. Oof. big hits, and that will take those guys out. Man, they were all having great races, and that, oof. That was a tough one. All right, do we see pit stops? Looks like everybody, 13 laps on those tires, is going to come down and get tires. You don't want to be left out there on older ones. And so everybody going to come down pit road. Brandon Bike going to try to get into his stall a little bit better this time, as pit road is wide open. Will we see any two-tire stops? Those are some quick starts for those stops for those drivers. Yeah, 2 tires for Sean Rogers. 2 tires for Jeffrey Taylor. 2 for Brandon and Matt Cox. Matt Cox down in the top 5. Chris Davis takes 2 tires. Sean Kaltenbach will be the first driver in that 52 on 4 tires. Kyle Holden took 4. John Binder takes 4. Andrew Niedert, 4. Chris Spear. So all those drivers back there took 4. And then Barry Sanders, the lone gunman, going to stay out. 13 lap old tires. And I wonder if he didn't expect more people to stay out there. But he's going to be out front. You know what? I want to talk to him. I want to see how nervous he feels, if that's what he was hoping for or what. So let's bring Barry Sanders into the booth. Barry, this is Eddie. You got a copy?
Sure do, buddy. What's up?
Well, yeah, and you have been you made that call to come down pit road early and try to undercut a little bit, and then the caution just kind of screwed you on that one, and you've been trying to fight back. And then here you are, 14 lap old tires. Did you expect everybody to go in? Were you expecting some folks to stay out? What was your thought there staying out here?
Oh yeah, I'm out of tires, so it was a no-brainer. I was probably going to stay out anyway because it's hard to get through the field tonight, man. I think we've ran pretty well towards the back end of runs. I haven't fired off very well, but I think this is the best thing to do right now because we don't have any tires, Eddie.
Well, you know, one day it would be nice to have some scuffs that we could put on if iRacing will ever let us do that. But yeah, if you're out, that's what you got to do. So what do you feel like your chances are? You got 2 tires behind you now. You got about 5, 6 2-tire guys behind you. Do you think you can keep this 88 up front for just about 18 more laps?
I don't know, man. We about to find out, though. I will be trying my best, that's for sure. But thank you for the update on the 2 tires behind me. It makes me feel a little bit better.
There you go.
I know Kyle's on 4, so, but we'll see what happens here, man. Excited to be up front here and at least have the opportunity to do something with it anyway.
All right, man. Well, good luck.
Yes, sir.
There you go, Barry Sanders. Hey, that's about as confident as someone could be, 14 lap old tires with fresh tires behind him. So we'll see what he can do. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough ask. Not going to lie. 14 laps doesn't seem like much, but there's plateaus that happen, especially at the 4th or 5th lap, 5 through 12, pretty fast here at Kansas. So it's going to be tough, but if you can get a good start, those guys get to battling behind him, you know, get kind of stacked up with 2 tires, he can hold on to it for just a little while. If enough cautions come out, you don't have to worry about defending your position if you run it under caution. So, you know, he had to make this call, but I do like it. You know, anytime you can be up front with less than 20 laps to go, regardless of your tire differential, it's not a bad place to be. As we get the 1 to green, going to go green flag with about 17 laps to go in this race. Who's going to win it? We got 2 tires all up front. We got 4 tires starting from 7th on back. We are not done wrecking. I can go ahead and tell you right now. It's going to be a mess. You see some bumper cars down on the bottom. Chris Spear gets into the back of a couple drivers. Is a little wild checkup there down on the bottom. I don't know what's going on. But here we go. Barry Sanders, control of the start. Can he hang on to it? I saw him on camera. He got to lean back when he pressed that gas pedal. He put all he had into it. Well, we're going to find out just how bad his tires are right here. What these guys do in the middle of the corner. New tires just not able to make the middle work. Barry does a good job, and they're doing exactly what he needs. Side by side battling, making a little bit of contact down the back straightaway. Barry Barry's lead shrinks pretty quickly as the 14 goes right down to the bottom. Barry's going to go down to block that air. The 44 does not get a great run, but here comes Brandon Bikey on the outside. They're making contact with the outside wall as they spread out almost 5 wide down the front straightaway. Down into turn number 1. Barry actually pulling away just a little bit as they continue to run side by side, side drafting each other. Brandon Bikey gets a run on Sean Rogers. Sean really wanted to clear him there, but could not do it. They continue to run side by side. And here comes Matt Cox down to the inside, trying to make it 3 wide for second place. In through the middle, they're going to make contact. Oh, more contact. They're beating and banging. Matt Cox, what a save as they're hanging on to it. Now here comes Chris Davis in the 29 machine, going to try to make it 3 wide again. And Barry Sanders leaning far back into his chair. Y'all got to see this. This son of a gun, he pushes the throttle. Watch him as he goes backward. Look at him leaning back, leaning into the corners. He's trying all he can to hang on to this top spot. And he's doing a great job now. Now this is where it gets difficult, as now Sean Rogers has been cleared and not battling for that second place. And look how quickly Sean runs up on the back bumper of that 88. Oh, the 14 gets a little bit loose as here comes Brandon Bikey. I mean, these guys battling is exactly what Barry Sanders needs. He's just got to hold on. He's got to run 15 of the fastest laps he has run all night long and hope that these guys continue to battle on these 2 tires. 4 tires, Sean Kaltenbach. He's down in that gray and black car as Chris Davis comes across his nose. Blocks that run. He's the first guy on 4 tires, but here comes Brandon Bikey again. Sean Rogers punching the air right now. Barry Sanders doing everything he can to try to break the draft. Even though they're battling side by side, they're still keeping up with him. As Chris Davis down to the inside, maybe 3 wide. No shot. Oh my goodness, this is so wild as there's wrecks going on behind, but we stay here. Brandon Bikey has gotten up to the lead. Barry trying to defend that outside, but Bikey gonna get the run down on the inside. Nothing. Into the wall goes Sean Rogers. Battle for the lead, though. Nothing that Barry Sanders can do. He's gonna try the crossover. Do not want to give up now as they're 4 wide behind. The 23 goes around. Kyle Holden right in front of him. And the 23 of Jeffrey Taylor, goes around and gets turned as they were 4 wide there. And you can see the disappointment, the frustration on his face. As we'll go back and see exactly what happened there. But my goodness, they were. Oh, we have to go back just a little bit further than that. Look at them, 4 wide, bouncing off each other. Continue to make contact and just gets a little bit too tight. And Jeffrey goes around. Boy, this is a lot of fun. What some great racing is. Barry would have loved that caution to come out just a little bit earlier, as he did lose the lead, and he'll lose control of the restart. However, he is still outside of the front row, and a lot of things could happen. We've seen Brandon Bikey's internet go in and out. You see him blinking there, so it's not over for the 88. He's actually done a really great job. That battling behind him has really been beneficial to him. So I think the 88 still has a chance. He's not that far off the pace. Just going to need a little bit of help, a little bit of luck, and some badass 7 or 8 laps, the best he can do. Now, who really who suffered on that, obviously the ones that were involved in that wreck, Kyle Holden is now big damage. Has been in position to try to get that win. Now going to be in big trouble. He's going to have to get some of this damage fixed. It's going to put him way back in 20th or more if he can even get it fixed. Jeffrey Taylor right in front of him. Big damage on the 23. I would imagine he's going to be pretty much done for the day. I think both those drivers not going to be really able to recover from this. See Kyle come out after about a minute Try not to go a lap down as the pace car is coming around now. But that damage is going to be not as bad as Jeffrey Taylor's, but it still looked pretty significant. The front end, you can see there's some gaps in there. All that stuff, the front end is kind of shaking. It might fall off. And all that contributes to really bad aero and handling. That car is not going to, you see it's kind of scraping the ground too. You see that front end. Let's see the sparks coming out. So Kyle in trouble. He's probably going to come back down pit road, try to get some more of that damage fixed if he can. But likely going to be done for the day after that incident. Brandon Bikey, though, out front. Now has a buffer. Barry Sanders with the older tires. He does not have another set, so he can't come down pit road. Sean Kaltenbach, who was the first driver on 4 tires, never really made it up through the field. So Randy Mullins, I'm still kind of confused about. And I think he probably got some damage at some point, but he elected to fix he gave up the lead to fix 2 seconds of damage. You know, and I'd love to talk to him about that, but I don't want to ask him right now. And he might watch this back and DM me and let me know why he did that. But I mean, it's easy to sit here. Hindsight is 20/20 after the fact and say, you know, maybe that wasn't the best idea. But I think he had a lot of confidence in his car, wanted to get as much damage as he could for the final push to the end. And he gets back here in 14th. Got a lot of work to do if he's going to get that 54 back up front where it's been all night long. But with so few laps left to go, I think the winner is going to come from these 3 rows that you see here. Brandon Bikey, Barry Sanders, Chris Davis, Matt Cox, Sean Rogers, and Andrew Niedert. But at this point, this race has been so wild. You know, we've got some folks back here. I mean, Sean Kaltenbach's been up front all race long. John Binder is in the mix. Jordan Schmeetz, after being wrecked at one point, he is now up there in contention. Brandon Fetterplace, who we haven't talked about all race long, he is in the top 10. And who knows what can happen up here at the front. All right, doubled up, ready to go. Bikey is going to have control of the restart, which is good for him. And he can only hope that the same thing that happened to Barry there, where the guys behind him and Barry not even with Bikey, so he's going to be laying back just a little bit. We'll see if he can get a good start here. No, he can't. Man, Barry struggling to get up through the gears. Did not go well as Chris Davis, though, looking down to the inside. Oh, and blinks out. Chris Davis, no idea where he is. That's dangerous. He could come back right in the middle of those cars. As soon as Chris Davis went for the lead, his computer said no. Is there 3 wide back there? Lord of mercy. Everybody's blinking out. It's Barry Sanders 3 wide, but John Bender now in second. Oh, my contact made back here. Holy moly, what is going on? This is wild. Trying to keep a battle for the lead in our sights, but you can see the 3 wide action going on behind them. Everybody trying to get up there. Pay window is open. And Matt Cox is sitting there in 3rd place. Who is going to win this race? And there's so much time left in this thing, but we are down to 6 laps to go in this one. It has been a long race. Will we get the green flag all the way to the end? John looking down to the inside as Matt Cox working that outside line, but Barry Sanders, look at him, still up there, working that top side. He ain't done just yet. Matt Cox gets a nice run off of turn 1 and 2. Now Bikey goes up to block. That's going to open the door for John. Down on the inside. 4 tires. John Binder. Bender. Why would I mess that up? I don't know. But he's the one on 4 tires. The rest of these guys on 2. But 3 wide for the lead with 5 laps to go. Oh, they're going to push together. Contact. Brandon Bikey blinks out. He's back. And after contact early in the race, 7 laps down, Matt Cox takes over the lead with 4 laps to go. Oh, they go inside. Oh, my goodness. Brandon Bikey almost makes contact. He didn't make contact. He's going to go back down to the inside, try to take the lead back over. Matt Cox going to get the car wound back up on the outside. Matt had it for just enough time for him to cross the line. Now he's going to go down to the bottom. Bikey going to try to defend with that top line. Cox going to slide up. He's going to try to slide her here right in front of Bikey. Bikey down to the inside. They're trading the lead back and forth. That's pulling everybody back to them. Look at the whole field's catching up as they go side by side. Just a few laps to go. John Bender in the best spot. He's just finding what line's going to work. He's got the tires. Does he have the time? Does he have the speed? Can Andrew Nieder get up here and do something? Jordan Schmeets. Both those drivers also with 4 tires. Oh, and Bikey blinks out again. Here comes Nieder to the outside with help with Jordan Schmeets. Bikey blinking out constantly. Matt Cox still holding on to the lead. He is going to have to drive the wheels off that 32 machine if he's going to, oh my goodness, somebody blinked out and crashed. I don't know who that was. They were just flying off the wall. I don't know what's going on with the iRacing servers, but it's scary. But here we go. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Who is going to come back? We are not going back to caution. No green-white checkers. We're going to see a checkered flag here. Is Matt Cox going to go up and kiss the wall a little bit? But that may have been enough for Brandon Bikey to take the lead. Down the back straightaway. Matt Cox with the run. Bikey going to go down to the bottom. Matt Cox going to get it wound up. Does he have enough? I don't think he does. Coming off of turn 4, he's going to look. But Brandon Bikey is going to take the checkered flag, 38 to first, and he wins. And I tell you what, I picked 3 drivers. I said Holden, Cox, and Bikey. And Bikey and Cox finished 1-2. Incredible. What an incredible race. They bounce off each other after the fact. And I'll tell you what, if you wasn't entertained by that, I don't know what to do. I'd take up knitting, I guess. I don't know. Brandon Bikey blinks out yet again as they're all celebrating, letting some steam out after the race. I love it. And Brandon Bikey blinks back in. Going to do a little bit of donut here on the front stretch if he can. Gonna gas it up. I like it. I like it. There he is. Race winner, Brandon Bikey, 38 to first. What some great stories here tonight. What a great race. We're going to take our last commercial break as he does a reverse Polish victory lap. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But it's impressive nonetheless. We're going to take a break. We'll come right back and talk to these drivers, see where everybody finished. We'll be right back in just a second. Well, all right, we're back. Brandon Bikey still burning it down. Well, let's take a look at your results, see where everybody finished here tonight. Bikey, Cox, Bender in 3rd place. Jordan Schmeets in 4th. Andrew Nieder in 5th. Chris Spear, what a great finish by Chris, 15th to 6th. He was running back in 20th or so. First part of the race, comes away with a 6th place finish. Hunter Carmichael, we saw him spinning at one point not too long ago, and he comes back and finishes in that 7th position after over a minute of damage. Some really great I got to say a lot. I got to give these guys props for sticking with it and not giving up on these races and getting these good finishes. Barry Sanders, oh so close. Those older tires kind of faded at the end. He comes home in 8th. Brandon better place in 9th. With Randy Mullins, got to be disappointed after winning both stages and coming home with a 10th place finish. Shay Davis going to finish in 11th. He was fast all night long. Jared Clark in 12th. Sean Kaltenbach, not really sure what happened to him, but he fell back quickly after taking those 4 tires. He comes home in 13th. Jeffrey Taylor, we saw him get caught up with somebody. Maybe he got caught up with Sean, but he comes home in 14th. Johnny Shade, great top 15 for him. Sean Rogers in 16th. Paul Whitley, 17th. Nick King in 18th. Kyle Holden, 19th. And then every driver after this was multiple laps down with a lot of incidents to go with it. Aaron Matthews in 20th. Paul Gallimore in 21st. 22nd, Chris Davis. Alex Coffey going to come home with a 23rd place finish. Blaine Wilson in 24th. Caden Norfree in 25th. 26th, Justin Belmont. Ed Bowles Jr. in 27th. Tim Mortman Jr. in 28th. Dean Motley, 29th. Shane Parrish in 30th. 31st, Darren Mills. 32nd, Stephen Gibson. The actual results and the timing screen are a little bit off, but close enough. Darren Mills, 31st. Stephen Gibson, 32nd. Garrett Crawford in 33rd. Andrew Chapman in 34th. Nigel Christensen, 35th. Josh Jean in 36th. Warren Young, 37th. 38th, Darren Mullins and Matt Medler in 39th. Well, all right. Well, I'm ready to talk to these guys, man. I'm excited to see what they thought about the race. And let's see if who we got here. Well, we'll go ahead and get the winner. He just jumped up into the channel. So we're going to bring Brandon Bikey up into the booth. Brandon, holy moly. What a great race. You had 3 people that I picked in the race. I picked you, Matt Cox, and Kyle Holden, and dadgummit. You made me look good there. Drove all the way from the back to the front, and, man, really made it happen. Talk about that race, man. How exciting was that?
That was so much fun, man. That was it was crazy. I had put the wrong setup in for qualifying. I was so that got me in the back, and then just not used to having a pit stall in the back. Missed my pit stall 3 different times during the race, so it was a roller coaster. And luckily, we just had enough time to make up for the mistakes and get back there and get the dub. So that was fun, man. Racing Cox there at the end. He's such a great driver, so that was so much fun.
Yeah, and you were all over the place. It seemed like you're and I mean that in a good way. Your car seemed to work at the top, the middle, and the bottom. You know, everybody seemed to enjoy being up at the top because you got the run, but you had to make a couple dives down to the inside. I mean, how was that car driving towards the end of that race there at the end? You know, you had to try to run down Barry, who got out there with those older tires, got out to a big lead, and you guys with the 2 tires were battling, and he was able to pull away even just a little bit. Talk a little bit about that battle and then where your car was best there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we were scared letting him just get out to a lead. We were all battling so hard to try to be that second car, that first car with the new tires. So most of us were on 2. There was a couple, I think, that took 4. So, you know, we wanted to obviously stay in front of the 4 tire folks, but, you know, it was just, there was a lot of nerves there to try to track down Barry because he's a great driver. And you know, we knew the 2 tires would prevail if we had enough time to catch them, and we weren't battling each other to get there. So that was the issue. But, you know, also we want to just have fun. So we're not going to just ride a line and just keep going around in circles. So we want to get out there and push it to the max. And I think we really showed that we were pushing it hard. I know there were some cautions there at the end, and you know, kind of throughout that whole last stage, and we don't really want to see that. But at the same time, that was because everyone was pushing so hard to really dig on that track, because it's a fun track to drive. And then, yeah, at the end there, my car was handling great. I had taken the 2 tires, made a couple adjustments to adjust for those 2 tires, and it was just turning like a dream off the corner. I was getting biggest runs, so that definitely helped me secure the victory there. But like I said, man, it was just so fun racing those guys. There's so much good talent in this league.
yeah, anytime you can go from the top to the bottom, you're crossing over each other, you're beating and banging, but you keep it together. It's a sign of really good talent. So just an awesome battle to watch there at the end. Very exciting. First win of the season for you, man. That's got to feel really good to get that win and kind of make sure that you kind of solidify yourself as a championship favorite. Talk a little bit about that win and what it means to get it here, especially kind of early in the season.
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, it changes the whole dynamic of how to approach the rest of the season, going for only wins and pretty much stage wins now. So it's gonna is going to make a lot of strategy calls different than what I had been approaching things up to now. So, I've been running pretty well all season, I think, for the most part. I've been competitive in most of the races. So that's a good thing. And, I want to keep being competitive the rest of the season. Like I said, it's just this league is stacked with so many talented drivers that it's tough to get a W. I mean, Kenny wasn't here today. Unfortunately, he had an injury last week and wasn't able to join us today. So I definitely want to hope he gets better. Send some hopes and prayers out to him. But you know, it's just so good. So it's very humbling to get a W with this group of people.
All right. Well, man, congratulations on the win. Definitely well deserved. You drove all the way from the back to the front, and then you didn't get it easy at the end. You had to battle it out with Matt Cox and others for it. So congratulations on the victory, and man, the floor is yours. Who you got to thank?
Thanks, man. First, I want to thank you, Eddie. Your broadcasts are the most fun to watch. I mean, I had it casted to the TV the other day, and my wife came downstairs and she was like, "What race are you watching?" And she thought it was a professional race because the broadcast was so tight and solid. So I want to thank you for putting this on and joining our league, and it's just amazing to watch back. So can't wait to do that. I want to thank all the guys at Beast Mode Performance, BMP. It's just the best group of guys there is. There's too many to name, but everybody over there is just amazing and has been so influential in making me a better driver and, making our team just better overall. So I want to thank them. Kenny Coppola, obviously he's the setup man, genius. So I want to shout out to him too. And then my wife, Lindsay, my dad, who watches a lot of these, want to say hi, and just everyone out there that supports me. I really appreciate it. And, we're going to keep trying to give good shows for you every single week. And hopefully this will be one of the best series to watch out there. So thank you.
Well, look, if I had this every night, I'm getting seconds. That was a good one. Winner, Brandon Bikey takes the victory, and man, what a fun one that was. But man, I gotta tell you what, I hate to say it, I'm just excited to talk to our next driver, Matt Cox. Matt, this Eddie in the booth got a copy.
Hey Eddie, what's up?
Well, look, I am so impressed, and we kept tabs on you. I don't know, I'm new to the league, so I don't have, a lot of people talk about broadcasters having broadcast darlings or whatever, but I kept my eye on you tonight, and we watched as you went down. Mikey got the win, and he started in the back, but you went down 7 laps at one point. You're 7 laps down, and you stuck with it, and you were there battling for the win at the end. Talk about that, man. How did you do that?
It happened. Something similar happened earlier. I got in like a wreck at Martinsville or something, and I said kind of the same thing. I'm just too fucking stubborn to quit. I don't get it. I just can't do it.
Well, look, I mean, it took a lot for you to get back. I mean, you obviously needed everything to fall your way. Talk about, how was your car driving? Were you able to get all the damage fixed? Did you still have some lingering? What was that 32 car driving like?
Yeah, I didn't have any damage really. I just dropped connection early in the race, so the car was driving great. I was pretty much full throttle the last 10 laps, something like that.
Wow. Well, able to get back connected back in. Everybody seemed to have some connection issues tonight. I don't know what was going on, but a lot of folks were blinking, and you actually completely dropped out, connected back, got back in the car, got back out there, and just fought, got back on lead lap. And when you got back on the lead lap finally, what was your thoughts from there on out?
Oh, sorry about that. I
Oh.
blinked.
You blinked out again?
I'm not joking. Connection.
Well, I was just saying, you did all that work. You don't ever know how it's going to play out if you can even get back on lead lap. But once you did, and you were back there in probably 17th or so, once you got your final lap back, what was your thought process? Did you think, I could get up to the front and maybe battle for this win, or were you just happy to be on lead lap? What was your thoughts at that point?
Yeah, I told everybody I'd be happy with getting a top 10, but once we got a couple of those cautions, got caught back up, I was gonna pretty much go for it, obviously, and yeah, just fell a little short.
Well, you had a great battle with Brandon there. It was a lot of fun to watch. What more did you need? I mean, y'all kind of swapped the positions back and forth. He got position on you, you got position on him. Was it just timing? Was that really the big difference of just who got what run when? You had a really good run in 1 and 2 a couple times, but in 3 and 4 there, it just didn't seem to get the run you needed coming off of 4. Is there anything else you could have done?
I mean, I probably should have ran lower in 1 and 2 on the last lap to not let him slide up so much, but I don't know. I mean, there was also John. John was really fast, and had a run low too. So I don't know if anything would have worked there, honestly. I was kind of in just a bad spot. I think whoever was in second there would have been able to make a slide job regardless. We were both pretty fast.
All right. Well, come away with a second place finish. Really good finish. You already got a couple wins on the season already. And that should give you the points lead. Honestly, you were 12 points back. Alex Coffey had some issues, so you lost the points lead last week. You're able to get it back with a great recovery. So congratulations on second place. And as always, who you got to thank?
Yep, just everybody on beast mode, all the teammates there. Ryko setups, who I run, always have something fast with them, so thank them for sure. Everybody who puts on the league, I'm looking forward to look back at this broadcast and see it from your perspective, because it was pretty fun. So just thank everybody for putting on a fun race.
All right, there it is. Second place, Matt Cox, and being so patient is John Bender, your third place finisher. John, man, you had a wild race. You kind of hung around in the around the top 10ish, point, and then there at the end took those tires, and boy, you came alive, and you were up there battling for the lead. I mean, talk me through your race from start to finish.
Oh, it was a very interesting race for one. Get up towards the front, and then burn the tires off, learn about the car, go back to the back, and then somewhere around the mid race, have a little spin to win down the front stretch type deal. But yeah, no, I took the tires. I had a little short run speed, so gave her all she got to battle this guys for a win and try to steal one. Just came up a little short.
Well, that 33 looked pretty stout with those tires, and I mean, you had a couple different options there as both Cox and Bikey were battling. Any regrets about lines that you took? Did you wish you maybe have done something a little bit different there at the end?
The last split stop, I wish I would have freed up the car just a touch more for that final run. I think that would have helped a lot, but so it was a little tight battle on those guys, but I was better on the bottom than I was the outside, so I got to run where the car's the strongest.
Yeah, well, you had a great battle there. Talk to me about the track and how it changed throughout the race. We started around, sunset. It kind of the sun went down, the lights came on, the track cooled off just a little bit. Did you notice the track changing at all during the race?
Not really. The only change I saw is what I was doing to the car myself, but the track itself pretty much stayed consistent to start to finish, in my opinion.
Well, all righty. Well, hey, I tell you what, third place finish. I mean, really great. Started 23rd and come away with a podium position. That's pretty incredible. So great run for you. Great drive tonight. And as always, man, who you got to thank?
Well, I thank Barry and the guys for putting the lead together. You for doing an awesome job up in the booth weekend we'd own. And the guys back at Rams Motorsports, Paul, Darren, and Randy. I couldn't think of his name for a second. All those guys, and then the T Conti sets. Go get them next week.
All right. There you have it. Third place finisher, John Bender, takes home third. And that's it. Want to thank All About Sheet Metal for their sponsorship of this race. And thank y'all so much for watching. Brandon Bikey, your winner here tonight in the OB Builders Cup Series in the Moonshiners Racing League on the planet Earth. Well, I'm Eddie Smith. It's been a great, great show here tonight. Just under 3 hours here tonight. 200 laps at Kansas. And, yeah, what an amazing race. Great finish. And we're making up for Martinsville and Richmond every single week. Thank y'all so much for watching V-Speed. If you liked it, hit subscribe. Tell your friends, subscribe. Get more eyeballs on these races. And we will see y'all next week as we take on, well, another one of my favorite tracks, and that's Darlington. So it's going to be a good one. Y'all hang out. Come back to us next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get some stripes on our cars. Probably a little bit of hurt feelings. Maybe some drama out there between some drivers. Who knows? But you're going to catch it all here on V-Speed. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you later.